up, Woodward? We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
Hey, what up, dope people? It's your boy Brandon Day, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, our Red Wings correspondent. And this is Wake Up Woodward chat family. We appreciate you all for choosing to kick off your day with the WUW Crew. You know, we got us a Victory Tuesday show. The Detroit Red Wings, they showed up, man. They put a lot of points on the board, 5-1 victory, and they keep the slim whale hopes alive, man.
Yeah, I put that in the chat. That was a little bit of wishful thinking, but I'll enjoy the win nonetheless, because as I've said in previous shows, do I expect them to make the playoffs at this point? No, I do not, but I want them to finish the season with a respectable point total. Don't just treat these last few games as meaningless. Go win some of these. Go win some games you're not supposed to. And I think last night, even though Utah isn't anything special, going into Utah and winning like that, that was a nice win. I will give them that.
Yeah, I saw some of the game last night at Barcade. Pete, Pinball
Shout
Pete
out
is what I'm
Pete.
calling him, man. Let Pete
Let him cook. Let Pete
He
cook.
was over there getting it in, bro. Y'all have to see this, man. It is an experience.
I
It
know.
is an experience.
I heard he a pinball legend, man.
Absolutely, bro. He was he owns the place. It was undersold to me, man. But shout out to Pete, and it was dope, man. We were sitting there watching the Wings play, and they looked good. After Peter Mrazek went down, Pete was like, "Oh man, this is the worst." But you know what? They continued to battle. They continued to play fast, play physical. And shout out to Alex Lyon for stepping up. But the Detroit Pistons, before we get more into those Detroit Red Wings, Detroit Pistons, they play the win-less San Antonio Spurs tonight, and it's another one of those handle your business games, but the San Antonio Spurs are not necessarily devoid of talent. It's one of those games for the Pistons, they're going to have to be on one.
Yeah, but this is one you got to win, and I expect them to. I'm assuming that Cade Cunningham is going to be back and playing, so go out and win. I understand that they have the probable Rookie of the Year on their roster. Shout out to Stephon Castle, which means, you know, they're obviously a team that has talent even without Wemby, but Wemby is the straw that stirs the drink, and you hate to see him go down with injury. You wish that he was playing, but at the end of the day, this just makes it easier for the Pistons to guarantee at least a 500 season, which they would do if they won. And I understand we want a lot more, but we appreciate all of the little milestones here, just like we appreciated them getting their 40th win for the first time in forever.
Yeah, and shout out to those Pistons. I know they're always looking forward. They're never satisfied. And JB Bickerstaff has been preaching that grit, and we see this from, honestly, their star player in Cade Cunningham all the way to the rookie player in Ron Holland. So it would be nice to see them go out there and see what the energy is looking like. Because I know last game, Ron Holland was just – he looked like the Energizer Bunny is what I saw people around social media referring to him as. But shout out to those Detroit Pistons. It's crazy to sit here and talk about the fact that this team is going to finish the season above 500 in a top 6 playoff spot, and they believe that they should still have more than that. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting run, an interesting finish to the season, because they're going to have to beat some teams that they've struggled with to end the season. I think it's going to be a good litmus test just before the playoffs start.
Good litmus test. Started off with a home win, because there are going to be a lot more games that are not as easy on paper as tonight. But speaking of not easy on paper, the Red Wings have to go into Colorado tonight. But we're not going to talk about that just yet. We're going to talk about what they did last night. And I think, and it was a 5-1 win over the Utah Hockey Club, by the way, a game that I think was closer than the final score indicated. But nonetheless, I'll take it. I think that was one of those games, and when you talk about just this game, but also the season, was an example of what makes me hopeful and what makes me happy, but also what frustrates me. Like, think about this. The Red Wings last night had 14 shots. They were -4 in power play opportunities, and they were -14 in faceoffs won, but yet they won 5-1. There were 32 shots combined. It wasn't necessarily the most aesthetically pleasing game, but at the end of the day, you take a win. You never apologize for a win. You never apologize for a 4-point win, by the way, or a 4-goal win. And there were a couple of positives that you can certainly take away. Alex Lyon played his best game in what seems like forever in relief of Peter Mrazek. Had 16 of 17 shots saved, including some really good ones when the Red Wings had a couple of defensive breakdowns. That's a .941 save percentage. The Red Wings were 4 of 5 on the PK, which is a lot better than they've been over the totality of the year. They were 80% last night, a putrid 69% on the whole season. Remember that number when the Red Wings don't make the playoffs, by the way. More on that probably as the season goes along. And Chase, welcome back Jeff Petrie. Who would have thought we'd ever say that? But, hey, He went in there. He played some valuable minutes. I actually think that he's better than Gustafsson and Hull right now, although Gustafsson's out, so you're probably going to be seeing a lot of Petrie and Hull, which isn't the best, but who would have thought you'd miss Jeff Petrie so much until he was gone? You saw Mo Sider with 4 blocks. You saw DeBrincat with his 33rd goal of the season and his 500th and 501st career point. So shout out to DeBrincat. He's had himself a heck of a year. I got nothing bad to say about him. But yeah, obviously I wanted to start with the positives, and I also wanted to go to Chase on his takeaways from the 5-1 win.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was nice. Austin Watson got his first as well,
Yeah.
which was cool to see that deflection off of, like, the Edmondson dump in, or, like, just kind of just ripping it at the net. But, obviously, it's happy to see him win. Sucks Mrazek went down because, I mean, obviously it's going to be slim chances to even get into the postseason if we are able to sneak in. And we've been dealing with issues with goaltending and defense down the stretch. So, I mean, just adding more injuries to that isn't going to make it any easier. I'll keep holding out the faintest bits of hope until the season is officially over. But, you know, I'm kind of where you are. It's like it's happy to see them go out and fighting and not mailing it in. I still want to see more toughness out of the team. I think at the end of the day, there's a bunch of nice guys on this team, but I don't have like a bit of a dirtball who's just gonna just get in your face and tell you fuck you when you need to.
No, to be fair, you've been consistent with that. But Austin Watson, I'm not saying that he's like the dirtball that we need. I mean, he's just Austin Watson. He played like 6 minutes last night, but he's not afraid to stand up for his teammates and throw his body around a little bit. But you'd like to have more. I agree with you on that, Chase. But he played a good game last night, obviously had the goal. Also, and I've mentioned this before, one of the reasons why I continue to remain more positive than I thought I would have is because of stuff that you see last night. Obviously, it wasn't the most well-played Red Wings offensive game, but you saw Marco Kasper get back in the scoring column. You saw Elmer Soderblom come back from his abbreviated absence due to injury and get in the score column. You saw Simon Edvinsson with a couple of assists plus 4 hits. You love to see that. You love to see the rookies and players who are getting their first action go out and contribute, because that's ultimately what gives us a lot of some hope as Red Wings fans. I think a lot of us, myself included, and I've been very vocal about this, have had questions about Steve Yzerman's team building and veterans that he's added, and the fact that you think that with all that's going on with this team that they should be better, but you can't really question what he's done in the draft so far. And the fact that Marco Kasper, Edvinsson, Soderblom look like they're going to be contributors on a team that's ready to win in the hopefully near future, I do like to see that.
I do have a question. Thinking about that, it's eerily similar to Troy Weaver, and we know that this guy could definitely draft with the best of them. But is this offseason one? Where's that confidence level that you believe Yzerman is going to be able to do what we see Langdon do with these Pistons that Troy Weaver could, and that's build properly around them?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm more confident personally that Guys like Sebastian Kosa will be hits, Nate Danielson, ASP. I'm honestly more confident in that than Steve Yzerman's ability to acquire viable veterans. And I'm not saying that he's never acquired viable veterans. You saw guys like last year, for example, David Perron and Shane Gostisbehere play big roles, Daniel Sprong, JT Compher, who's still there, Andrew Kopp, who's still there but hurt, guys that you probably expected a little more from. It's not like he's never signed an impactful veteran, but I always point to this last offseason, Vladimir Tarasenko, Cam Talbot, and Eric Gustafson. You can say that Cam Talbot was good at some points, but the overall return of the moves that were made in this past offseason has not been up to par at all, and I think that explains a lot as to why the Red Wings are probably going to finish on the outside looking in. Right now, they're 3 points back of Montreal of that final playoff spot. Am I super confident that they'll get it? Not necessarily, but like I said, I need them to show some fight. I need them to put up a respectable point total, because if they don't, that's where my voice and my questions will start to get louder and probably more obnoxious to certain Red Wing fans.
Hey, you know what, Chad family, I also want to know from you all, what is that confidence level that Steve Yzerman will get this thing right? And I like your comments as well, because just to put it again in basketball terms, it seems like you believe the Red Wings might have the ability to make a similar jump to the Orlando Magic, who did it with kind of their young players who were a little bit more developed. And then obviously you got a guy like Paolo Banchero, who he didn't come into this league looking like a rookie at all. You had really a collection of talent of guys that were ready, not too old, kind of young, on first and second contracts in the NBA, but ready to take that leap, and we saw them get to play in and playoff caliber.
I mean, we'll see. And off of that, I want to get to a couple of things that frustrate me watching last night's game. And that's more, and this is more when you talk about the totality of the season. I mentioned Alex DeBrincat. He got his 33rd goal of the season with 12 games left, by the way. He only had 27 all of last year. He got his 500th and his 501st career point, which is a great accomplishment. Alex DeBrincat, there's nothing really that I can say. What I was hoping for him when the Red Wings acquired him is really what I'm getting this year. Alex DeBrincat, I know it would take a heater, but he has a real chance at getting 40. And we all know that was the biggest thing. Alex DeBrincat is a guy who scored 40 goals in a season twice. Last year, he really faltered down the stretch and had a disappointing year. You can point to that as a contributing factor in why they struggled so much down the stretch. But this year, I got no questions about Alex DeBrincat. Lucas Raymond, point a game, 70 points, 70 games. I know that he's slowed down a bit in terms of his production after Four Nations, but in the totality of the season, this is the first time in which he's actually averaging a point per game. Last year, he got 72 points in 82 games. Mo Seider is top 5 in the NHL, 5th actually in block shots and hits combined. There's more to being a defenseman than blocking shots and hits, but that's a big part of it. My point is that if you would have told me before the year that Alex DeBrincat would have 33 goals with 12 games remaining, Lucas Raymond would be a point-per-game guy, and Mo Seider would be top 5 in the NHL in block shots plus hits, I would have said they're making the playoffs. There's no question about it. But the Red Wings sit where they are right now. And that, to me, is very, very frustrating, and that, I think, speaks to Steve Yzerman's lack of acumen when it comes to veterans and acquiring them and ones that he let walk. And I'm not saying that he should have kept Gostisbehere, Perron, Wallman, every single one of them, but at the end of the day, I think what frustrates me about this season is the veterans last year were more impactful than the veterans are this year, and that's something that I would have never foreseen. There is not a single veteran player on this year's team that is as impactful as Shane Gostisbehere and David Perron were to last year's team. That's what's frustrating. So I hang my hat on the fact that the young guys, the really young guys, the Edvinsons, the Kaspers, the Soderblooms, the Johanssons, et cetera, are proving to be viable NHL players. I see development from Seider. I see development from Raymond. I see a great season overall from DeBrincat, who we're going to need for future years. I see Dylan Larkin taking a bit of a step back in production, but still playing well. I like that, but I just wish that this team were in a better position playoff-wise, because with everything that I just said, having 72 points at this point of the season, to me, that's not acceptable. And I hope that Steve Yzerman feels that way as well.
Yep, definitely. I see Turn 2 in the chat. It says 12 tough games to close it out. If we drop 8 to 10 of those, will this optimism about the future hold?
No. I'm sorry. No. I don't think they will, by the way. But if they finish all right, let me give one caveat. If they drop 8 of them, only 8, they win at least 4, but a couple of the games are overtime losses, I will feel a little bit better. Maybe that's just splitting hairs. But at the end of the day, a lot of you guys who I like to refer to as the Steve bots are very fortunate that I'm as positive as I am right now. So take that. So take that for what you want, because at least I've been able to evolve and be like, okay, the young guys are showing up. They continue to come into the NHL and play well. Steve Yzerman obviously knows what he's doing as a drafter. So still somewhat optimistic about the future, but you can't tank this season. You can't finish the year with like 78, 79, 80 points. But I don't think they will, and I think that win at Utah was one of your more winnable games on paper to end the year, and the Red Wings got the job done. But even the Utah game, that's not easy. They went out and did it. Congratulations to them. I expect him, if I were to make a prediction, I expect him to finish between 84 and 86 points. And I can live with that. I don't love it, but I could live with that.
Yep, and I see one more from Chuck Brewer here. He says, Sam, the question I have that nobody can answer is how much is Stevie being handcuffed by Chris?
The problem is that NHL hockey is a salary cap league. I understand that in baseball, you can just write whatever check that you want. And Chris Ilitch, at least allegedly from what we've seen, has not always been willing to shell out the money. I mean, a lot of us would like him to just buy out Javi Baez, for example, and he hasn't done it. And Tom Gores, conversely, with the Pistons, was able to do that with Monty Williams, just paid him basically to go away. So I think that that's viable when it comes to Chris Ilitch. But I don't want to play the Chris game with the Red Wings. I know there's been some reports that with like Steven Stamkos, and I think Terry Foster came in and talked about that. But at the end of the day, a lot of you guys mocked anybody who wanted Steven Stamkos, and I wasn't even dying on the hill for Steven Stamkos. I personally would have liked better Moneyball type signings if they were going to go that route, and I just didn't.
You don't say
it didn't happen.
Bean.
Hey. While others were clamoring for Mikko Rantanen and Steve Stamkos, I was clamoring, me and Chase were, for Alec Martinez. So, just saying.
I'm happy for the Wings, man. That they at least get the win, but it's like to not make the playoffs. So I went with the all black on black Red Wings hat today, man. Shout out to the Wings. You want to see something that just instills your faith in at least the young talent in the direction of the organization. From the casuals to the diehards, Red Wings, it's an electric environment, and it's still one of my best boots on the ground moments, man. When we were there at the arena, got the boots on the ground content with the fans. Broder was with us. I know we got to interview, R.I.P. John Kloss, Darren McCarty night, and then 3 brothers up in the rafters, man, watching an overtime win. I was up there with KG and JB, and it was cool because on our way there, the thing we kind of talk about sometimes, we're like, yo, this is crazy that this happens. But even a couple people who watched the show was like, oh, shoot, that's JBSmooovv. And that's KG, that's Kool-Aid. And we were able to be up there, slap hands with people as we saw the Red Wings win. It's like you wanted to get back to that. I know how much we wanted the aspect of April and the D, all 4 sports teams making the playoffs in their last full calendar season. But I am really, really hoping that what we see down this stretch and instills at least some hope in the direction of this team.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask Chase before we moved on to some other. Well, actually, this wasn't a gut punch, but coming up next, we might be talking about a little bit of a gut punch. But Chase, are you still optimistic about the future, no matter how the Red Wings finish their season?
Yeah, I mean, with how the season finished, how they finished the season, and how I feel about the future are going to be 2 different things. I'm going to be optimistic with the young guys that we have in place, and although some people can say they're unhappy with the free agents that Stevie's brought in, none of them have been long-term pieces to be part of this team. There have been nothing but bridge contracts. A lot of them are coming off the books this year. Thankfully, I'm very excited to see Justin Hall no longer wearing the Red Wings sweater. So, I'm looking at this free agent class as possibly the first time we actually kind of dip our toes into the waters of adding a long-term piece the way we made a trade for Alex DeBrincat, because that was a trade, not a signing. Yeah. I think this might be the first time we do make a bit of a splash in that free agent pool. But, I mean, the guys that we have in the system, like waiting for them to come up, we're not going to be waiting forever, but I think we have some very, very talented pieces, and, people are going to be happy with their patience, in a year or two.
Hey, I hope so. And as I said before, I'm actually more confident in the guys who are currently in Grand Rapids working out than I am with Stevie Y having a good offseason in terms of acquiring veterans. But Chase, do you think that this is a big offseason for the Red Wings, or is this a situation where patience is a virtue still? And I'm not mad wherever you go. I'm just curious.
I think it's big for the fans. I think that the Winged Wheel Nation essentially is going to be very antsy and very reactionary to whatever happens, whether that be the Red Wings sitting on their hands and not making a big signing, or whether that be going after somebody. There's some bigger names on the market for UFAs. Honestly, if we do make a splash, I want to see us add somebody on the back end, defensive wise. I think we have some solid forwards and stuff, but I mean, for me, I feel like I have a bit of an unpopular opinion with the Wings. I'm cool with just kind of letting Stevie do his thing, because I think he's the greatest captain in North American sports history, and I think we're stupid to sit here and question his leadership. So I'm just gonna sit back and look at the young talent that we have in our system, and the coaches and the people who have been a part of the success of this franchise, currently in the front office and in the development program, to mentor these guys and get back to where we used to be.
Hey, you've been consistent. I'm not mad at it. I think that as these players continue to matriculate into the NHL, we're seeing that pretty much all of them can play. And I have a hunch, just from what I've seen and from watching highlights and just looking at numbers, et cetera, from guys like Nate Danielson, Sebastian Cossa, and ASP, that those guys can play as well. And as they continue to get into NHL, I think that regardless of the results, the fan base is going to be happier. We'll see. I think, and obviously the team is going to be better. I would like Stevie Y to have a better offseason this one than he did in this previous one prior to this year, but we'll see. All I know is that the young guys showing up and being contributors, and you see the talent with them, that's honestly, as a Red Wings fan, what helps me sleep at night. Seriously. There's a lot that you could complain about this year, but you can't really complain about the draft picks showing who they are.
It's dope, man. And I got high hopes for Steve Yzerman. But you guys better watch it out there, because Chase will be on you. You fired up, man. I like the passion, as always. But I know we got to talk about another team that's about to get going soon. And when we get to the Grand Slam opening day, Reed, we're definitely going to give away 1 or maybe 2 passes. Each pass comes with a +1, so we get to start the giveaways. I'm excited for that. But I got to tell you guys about Buddies, and we're going to talk about the Detroit Tigers. Looks like they're trying to bolster themselves a little bit to try and balance out some of these injuries that they're going to have to wait for. So, Buddy's Pizza has been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946. 79 years later, they have 22 locations in the state of Michigan, and fans can still visit where it all began, on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. Sign up for Buddy's Rewards to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app and start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. That's the number 10, MEAL, BuddiesPizza.com.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! The boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
Hey, what up, dog people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off the day with the WUW Crew chat family. As always, you all are the most important part of the WUW Crew production. So go ahead and smash that like button on this Victory Tuesday for those Red Wings. We got a couple more things to talk about. It's your boy Brandon Dan, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporting writer for the network, Flannel Sam, all sports knower, Red Wings correspondent, and the Detroit Tigers. A little bit of news here. They placed Parker Meadows on the 60-day IL, and they also make a corresponding move to sign former Tampa Bay Rays and Minnesota Twins outfielder Manuel Margot. And instantly, it's okay. Got to do what you got to do to try and balance out some of these injuries to players that we were going to be depending on to have this Tigers team make a hot start. And I know we're going to break this stuff down too, but just keep this question in the back of your head as well. The Tigers season, man. There's some people out there who believe that it just might be done, but I definitely want to talk about how all of this affects things and if that pitching staff has enough to keep them afloat.
Well, I'll be honest, the Parker Meadows news is devastating in a lot of ways. And I'm not in the way that, oh, it's gloom and doom, and this is the report from Evan Petzel. The Tigers roster move. Parker Meadows has been placed on the 60-day injured list to create room on the 40-man roster for Manuel Margot. This means Meadows isn't eligible to play in MLB games until late May. And I think what is the most devastating about it is whether you like the Tigers' young stars or not, and you know how much that I love Riley Green, and you know that I'm a big believer in Kerry Carpenter and Parker Meadows when they're on the field, the injury bug has just bit the Tigers' young players really badly. Yeah. You saw Riley Green in his rookie season and his second year both play less than 100 games. You saw Kerry Carpenter miss almost half the season last year, miss over 40 the year before. And now Parker Meadows. We saw him sustain an injury last year when he came back from the minors, in which he inexplicably stole a base. I don't have to attempted to steal. I don't have to hash that out again, but he missed a pretty decent portion last year, about a month. And now this year, he's probably going to play less than 100 games. And I'll pass it over to KG before I really dive deeper into the numbers. But the reality is you can absolutely argue that when the Tigers were making that run at the end of the year to go from having almost a 0% chance of making the playoffs to being in the playoffs, you could argue that the most impactful player on the team was Parker Meadows. He played like an all-star during that 50-game stretch. And the Tigers, I'm sure their front office, their coaching staff, fans, were really counting on Parker Meadows putting together a full season of good play. And unfortunately, we're not going to get that And the season hasn't even started yet, so that is a little bit depressing. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's a big blow to the team. Parker Meadows, he did spend some time, down in AAA last year, but when he came back up, he just seemed to be a completely different player, and you really, wanted him to continue on that pace and be able, like Sam said, to have a full, spring training and to be able to be on the opening day roster. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And I think the news that's kind of being slept on, yes, Parker Meadows is injured. We know he's going to be out a couple months, but Wenzel Perez is also now injured, and he's going to be out for a month. So the Manuel Margot signing, it was something that absolutely had to happen. The player himself, I mean, he's not a prolific hitter. At one point, he was a really good defender. I won't say he's not a good defender now, but he's down a notch at this point. But he's somebody that can come in, he can be a body, and he can also hit left-handed pitching, which is cool. But I don't know what you're going to do there because they refuse to move over Riley Green. I guess they're just worried about his injury history. They don't want him to get hurt while you're waiting for Parker to come back. So you're essentially left with Manuel Margot and Ryan Kreidler, of all people, until Matt Vierling or Parker Meadows is able to return. So it's a big blow to the team, and I just wonder defensively how they will look, and even offensively, because the pitching will be there. We all know the pitching is one of the best in the league, but it's all about, can you give them run support? You have the best pitchers in the world. I've said it time and time again. If you're not giving them the runs, then it's going to hurt this team. So, yeah, we just got to see how it's going to play out.
Talking about injuries, just
at the wrong time.
Yeah.
They got the Juju
Watson.
Right now, man.
Yeah, prayers up to her, man.
For her. But I see Manuel Margot, I know we posted this to socials. He batted .238 with a 626 OPS in 29 games with the Twins last season. We had a few comments on there, and the first one was just, can he play third base?
Well,
but
no.
But effectively, the left-handed pitching was the thing that was probably the most consistent comment in here, and it says that he was 713 OPS versus left-handed pitching. And so I feel like it gives at least a manager in the type of AJ Hinch something that he can use to kind of more or less manufacture those runs.
Yeah.
Especially playing against, when you get later in games, against bullpens and such. I feel like it at least gives him something, but in the grand scheme of things, like Parker Meadows, and now this being a loss that's being extended, we're hoping that it just stops there. But right now the trend is that at first it was supposed to be a little bit of time, and now it's been extended to 60 days.
No, and this can also affect A.J. Hinch's managerial decisions, because it is good that he can hit lefties, that's fine. But now you have two people in center field that can't hit righties. Because if you have Ryan Kreidler backing him up, he's not good against right-handed pitching as well. So if you come to a point in the game where you might have to make a substitution, defensively, then what are you going to do there? You don't have many options. And then once again, these guys are only really good at hitting left-handed pitching. You don't really want to see them out there against righties. So, and you need right-handed batting against right-handed pitching. So it is what it is, man. But we'll see how it plays out.
It sounds so simple.
Yeah. Right, it does. So and obviously, Manuel Margot, he's far from a perfect player, but he's probably the best that was available. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's never a good situation where you need Manuel Margot in the worst way, but that's what the Tigers are right now. And Manuel Margot, he's had some good years, both with the Padres and with the Rays. Last season with the Twins was probably the worst year of his career. That's not usually typically who he is, but even in that season, he hit left-handed pitching relatively well, just like Gleyber Torres does for the record. So I get what they're doing. It's just that you mentioned it, KG. Parker Meadows is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to players that the Tigers are not going to be seeing at the beginning of the year. Parker Meadows is the biggest blow, no doubt about it, because last season, just to put some numbers to what I was saying, in the last 50 games of the year, Parker Meadows had an 857 OPS, plus arguably being the best defensive center fielder in all of baseball. That's an all-star level impact, and I don't know how much of this is correlation or causation, but the Tigers, and everybody points to this, but they point to it because it's an absurd number. The Detroit Tigers were 54-28 in games in which Parker Meadows played. And I'm not saying that all of that was because of Parker Meadows. I think he he was there at the beginning of the year when the bullpen was super dominant and like Jason Foley was the best closer in baseball and all of that. And they were really doing well at preventing runs. And he also, a lot of him coming back was also correlated with Riley Green being healthy at times, Kerry Carpenter coming back, Spencer Torkelson, all of that. But we all know by watching the games and watching, just looking at the numbers, the eye test, all of that, that Parker Meadows is insanely impactful when he is on the field. And he does it, he's pretty much a five-tool player at his best. And I understand saying a five-tool player is probably a little bit too much, but he showed in almost a half a season stretch when the Tigers made one of their greatest regular season runs in the history of their franchise that he was arguably the best player. You mentioned Wenceel Perez as well. Wenceel Perez, and I understand that the numbers at the end of the year don't look as pretty as they did at certain moments, but there were times when Spencer Torkelson got sent down, Parker Meadows got sent down, Kerry Carpenter got hurt, where Wenceel Perez really helped stabilize things. If you didn't have Wenceel Perez play at the level he did at the beginning of the year, the Tigers would have been more out of it than they already were. They probably wouldn't have been able to make the comeback that they did, because in the first 3 months of his season, 3.5 months of his season, from he got called up, I think, April 8th until mid-July or towards the end of July, Wenceel Perez has had a 729 OPS. That's really damn good for a rookie. He was incredibly impactful. And then, of course, Matt Vierling, got to go to him as well. Matt Vierling was first on the team in at-bats, second in runs, third in hits, first in doubles, third in home runs, and tied for third in RBIs and fourth in OPS on the Detroit Tigers. Those are three guys that the Tigers are going to be missing to start the year, and it's going to be tough. I think Manuel Margot could be a solid just piece that you plug in when he needs to start, and maybe as players get healthy, he gets less time. But at the end of the day, you don't want Manuel Margot to have the role that he's going to need to have at the beginning of the year. And the Tigers are really, really, really going to have to rely on their pitching. Really going to have to rely on their pitching.
Gromit, I see you in the chat. He says the Tigers are going to be awful defensively and no big bats. Going to lean on the pitching staff. And Matthew Kruger, he said we had a barrage of injuries last year, and we still made the playoffs, bro.
Don't listen to that clown.
So I ain't tripping.
This man comes in here and discredits everything that the Pistons do every day, but faps under the table about what the Tigers did last year. It's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh, but the Pistons don't win against winning teams. Hey, Krugy. Did you celebrate those White Sox wins last year? Did you? Did you celebrate the A's wins last year? Did you celebrate the Rockies wins last year? I know you did. I know you did.
It's too early for this
clown.
shit, man.
Send in the clowns.
I see
Matthew Kruger with a fucking mask.
Krugy got
I'm
me.
sorry.
I'm sorry. Randall Small says, let's give these guys a chance. And Max Clark would look awfully good in center field.
I would love to see it, but he's not coming up this year.
Yeah,
but
hey, here's one.
He would look great, though.
Torque will make up for all the deficiencies. Let's go. That's all.
He's had a good spring training.
Hey, bet your mortgage on that.
Yeah, go
He's
ahead.
had a good spring training, and I hope that that's the case. But even if Torque the thing is, though, regardless of what Torque does, you don't just losing Parker Meadows, Matt Vierling, and Wenceel Perez is a big deal. And I understand that Wenceel Perez is probably the least important of them all because in a perfect world, he's more of a utility player. But we all know that this team, at least with the hitters and the position players and the starting lineup, they need depth. And Wenceel Perez was going to be the most valuable depth piece on the team. And now he's presumably going to be out for at least a month. Like I said, it's up to the Tigers pitching staff to carry them during these stretches. And also, maybe Spencer Torkelson does take a leap. Maybe Riley Green becomes a legitimate top 5 MVP candidate. I think that he has it in him. The pressure's going to be on more than ever, at least to start the year. So we'll see. Kerry Carpenter, the pressure's on him to stay healthy because we all know the type of prolific power that he has, particularly against right-handed hitters. So it's going to be a tough stretch to start the season, and I think, unfortunately, it's going to determine a lot in how the Tigers finish the year. They can't tank with these guys being out.
And you know what? I do wish they would spend the money on a bat. I know you've been probably one of the louder voices
Yeah,
too.
come
I
on,
see
bro.
you.
I ain't
You've
wasting my
been
breath
saying
no
2
more.
bats. That's what you've been actually saying. You said, "Oh, bring in 2." But this is one where now we're saying lean on the pitching, and every time the conversation of Pay Scuba comes up, you get this weird contingent of people say, "But he's just a pitcher." It's just ironic how it's like the wheel.
I don't know who the hell said that.
It just turns. It's just like, okay, yeah. Because we're going to look back on this season again, and Scuba's going to find himself in the middle of another Cy Young race because of how much his pitching staff is going to pick up this team. And that, to me, I am very confident in that. I'm confident what Feder can do with this pitching staff, who I believe is going to be better than last season. But knock on wood, you got to have health and you have to have consistency. Because they were good for the course of the season, but it was almost like thirds. And you had the first third of the season where they were looking like the next coming. And then the middle third where it was just like, what's going on with the bullpen? Then the last third where it seemed like Scooble and some of those starters were really, really, really effectively being the horses. And then you get the long relief that started to really, really contribute positively again to the Tigers' run. And we know they were the best team in baseball over the last, let me get this right, 40 games of the season.
Yeah, pretty much the last 20,
month. Someone got on my case, bro.
Yeah, last month of the season. But they were starting to get healthy around that time, Javi Baez notwithstanding. And what do we always say about this team come April? They got to get off to a fast start. They got to get off to a hot start in order to, avoid being behind the 8 ball. And they have a real opportunity to be behind the 8 ball. This is a team that already had hella defensive deficiencies before the injuries. And now you got all these injuries piling up at the wrong time. And it can really affect how the Tigers start this season off. You don't want to see them get behind the 8 ball because we all know if it wasn't for them starting so fast last year, they probably don't make the playoffs, and we talking about a different type of Tiger season going forward. But they got to do something, man, because I really don't want to see them get off to a slow start this year. They can't afford it.
I gotta go to the voice of reason first.
We don't have to give that like any.
Don't give it no ear.
Oh, man.
Go ahead,
JBSmooovv. What up, though, man? Because you've been a voice of reason going back multiple shows now. Multiple years.
My man, mad.
Yeah, like he's been through.
You mad when you cuss and you put the stars on it.
You see it?
Type it out the cuss word.
I was like, oh, the bait.
My man's mad.
I want to take the bait, but I cannot. Voice of reason,
He's
man.
big, man.
These Tigers, man. The pitching. Take it away, JB, because I'm not gonna get through this.
I don't want to sit here and say that, we need to be overly concerned. I still want to wait to see how things play out with these couple of games. Like, let's get the season in motion first before we just sit here and just wave the white towel and say, hey, you know what, we're dead, it's over with. But as of right now, I am a little concerned. I'll just say that right now. I'm concerned.
Which one is it, JB?
I'm concerned. I'm very concerned because no money was really spent during this offseason. And right now, we're still kind of floating in that same team that we had last year. And it's like just relying on a hope and a prayer to somehow get us to midway through the season or at a trade deadline where we can kind of start to make some moves. But as of right now, I'm a little concerned. I'm concerned.
And JB, here's the thing, and I see this sentiment in the chat, especially from like the slappies of the world that just think I'm being gloom and doom, think that it's just next man up, and you can highlight what the Tigers are missing while saying people are going to have to step up, like the pitching. But at the end of the day, to the Rando Smallses of the world, did you like what Parker Meadows did last year? And now it's just like, who cares? He's gone. Yeah. That's the shit that just drives me insane. Like, come on. I'm not saying that. For the record, do you want me to go on record? I think the Tigers will still make the playoffs. I have questions of whether or not they'll win the division. I'm leaning a little bit more towards wild card with all the injuries, but I still think the Tigers will make the playoffs.
Come on, man. Flannel over there.
All right, look at him coming on home. I'm like, y'all was crazy on this. They going to compete for the AL. I'm like, I just don't see it,
They over here beefing with my man. They didn't even know. Like, y'all are flannel bros. Y'all agree with what he just said.
I will say this, though. At the end of the year, I think that if everybody's healthy and maybe even if the Tigers make some sort of midseason move, that they are a team that could compete for the AL, just because I think the AL is going to be a little bit weaker than it has been in years past.
Said that last year too.
With all of the injuries that the Tigers are incurring to start the year, it wouldn't shock me at all if by the time Parker Meadows is back, that the Tigers are hovering around 500. And that might be a little bit too steep to climb out of in terms of winning the division, but in terms of making the playoffs, I still expect them to make the playoffs. It's just, you can't just dismiss Parker Meadows, Matt Vierling, and Wensiel Perez injuries after blowing your wad over them last year. And rightfully so, by the way. I'm not mad at you for that. It's just don't switch up and act like it's no big deal that they're gone.
And why do we blow our wad, though? Listen, no matter my belief in the pitching staff to keep them afloat until they get their injured players back, what spurred this epic run by the Tigers where over the last 40 games of the season, they were the best team in baseball? It was getting players back like Parker Meadows and one Kerry Bonds and among others. And it was like, and obviously we know what they did at the trade deadline, but it was getting those injured players back, and they made such a difference. Kerry Carpenter, did he waste any time showing what we were missing?
No.
Not at all.
He
and
didn't.
that's where it's like, you know what? No matter how much we believe in this team, we can't act like these guys didn't play that role. I remember when Parker Meadows went down because we had boots on the ground down in Toledo for that first game back. And it was interesting to see him hitting the ball and just looking a lot more comfortable. And we realized then, I remember the next show back, we had the video and we talked about it with our guy Broder. And we discussed the fact that it looked like Parker Meadows just needed a mental break.
Yeah.
Just needed to clear his mind, and he came back and was a contributor. Kerry Carpenter got healthy, and it was just, you know, it was effectively what this team needed. And when you mix in those types of bats with the type of pitching we have, it was night-night. It wasn't just being able to manufacture runs, but also knowing that you could depend on Kerry Carpenter to come through with a big hit, knowing that you could depend on the consistency of a Parker Meadows. Without that, I do believe that all Tiger fans should have some aspect of concern. I'm not saying that you should wreck your expectations for this season, but Parker Meadows is a heck of a player.
Yeah.
And I think that when you lose a player like that, you should definitely pay the proper attention to
Right,
him.
we talking about defense, stolen bags. His hitting looked like it was coming along. You missing a lot in just Parker Meadows by himself, not even counting Matt Vierling and, you know, some of the other injuries that you have. So that's why I'm concerned. Like I am, like I don't want to seem like I'm just down on the team completely. I'm not. But like I said, them getting off to a fast start is going to be crucial for them to stay afloat in the AL, man. It really is.
Yeah, and if you want one more, I would say, caveat to everything before we TLB, because basketball and the NCAA tournament, the Pistons hijacked everything yesterday, and rightfully so. So we got some catching up to do. If, and this is a big if Manuel Margot could give you the best of what he's been in his career,
So
then
260.
I think that'll help the Tigers stabilize things. He's had a couple of seasons with an OPS over 700. He's had multiple years with an on-base percentage of over 300. He was a good defender, as KG said back in the day, but his defense has fallen off over the last few years. But if Manuel Margot can, at the absolute worst, have an on-base percentage of over 300, hit lefties relatively well, and show just a little bit of power, and by a little bit, I'm talking 4 or 5 home runs in the first couple of months, that could make things a little bit different. But nobody's obviously going to replace what Parker Meadows did, and Manuel Margot at this stage of his career is not even as good as Matt Vierling. Just baseball player for baseball player.
Man, you know what? But you still do believe those Detroit Tigers are making the playoffs. Is that the general consensus all around as well? With
Yeah, if they get healthy wild card, I can see it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
I just don't know if they competing for the Central. I don't.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like I said, I'm not making my official prediction yet, but it's leaning more towards a wild card. And actually, one more thing, because I see Skydog chirping in the chat constantly. Remember, Skydog, I'm not always here, but I'm always here. You outed yourself at one point when I was just viewing the chats silently and stealthily as somebody who predicted that the Tigers would win 65 games last year and are predicting that they win 67 this year. Did you repent, Skydog, for last year, or are you a fraud coward? Did you repent or did you not? I bet you didn't. I bet you won't.
You can't even covertly talk about Riley Green. Sam gonna find it.
No.
Sam gonna find
No.
it every time.
That has nothing to do with Riley Green. I've had my battles with Skydog about a bunch of different things, but just repent. Just repent and say you were wrong.
Got AI running algorithms.
I
He's
see it.
in the back cave, bro.
He tolerates no Riley Green slander.
But I'm sure you won't, though, Skydog. I'm sure you'll do the whole, at the time they were looking some, But if I do that about anybody, I get murdered for it. Different strokes for different folks. And I get it. I have a responsibility up here. It's a little bit different. But just repent for something in your life, Skydog.
And your stroke, big musket energy.
Hey, absolutely.
Hey, that's right, man. We got to get into a little bit of TLB. What up, though, KG?
Talk Lions, bitch.
Hey, shout out, man. It gave a little bit of that Chappelle Show vibe, man, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Detroit Lions, they signed cornerback Avonte Maddox native of Detroit as well.
Shout out.
And we got to talk about this move, man. Chat family, are you all in favor of Avonte Maddox? People keep saying another secondary player.
Yeah.
That's literally the general consensus. People are like, go Detroit, another secondary
the
player.
moves.
I guess.
Keep the moves.
Hey,
I think I know what Brad doing now. I'm chilling.
I'm curious to see, man, because I noticed there was a particular stat about a particular skill set that he has, and it's interesting to see how they're going to use these players that they are starting to acquire in this deep now secondary. But let's get into this next break, and that was fire Detroit Tigers talk as well, man. I thought it was thorough. Parker Meadows
It's
a problem to not happen, man.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
But merch?
Yeah, I got to tell you about some merch, but first, shout out to everyone sending in super chats before we get out of this Tigers talk as well, too. $4.99 from Nasty. He said, I put money on it that Clark would have been the best bat in the team if he got called up. Take a look at stats. Also, $4.99 from Dante151 as well, too. He said, pitching can only get you so far in baseball. The Tigers have great pitching staff, but players like Torque, Riley, Carey, and Javi need to take a step up.
Agreed.
I completely agree with that as well, too. But let me tell you about some merch that we got going on right now. Do yourself a favor, head over to WoodwardSports.com, click on that shop tab. New designs for you every single week. Red Wings pulled one off last night, so celebrate with some Red Wings merch. The LFG Red Wings t-shirts, hoodies, and like I said, opening day is right around the corner. Woodward Tigers gear is there for you. You need to be rocking that while you're down at Comerica Park or while you're hanging with us at the tent party, which I'm telling you, is going to be fire this year. White Claw flannel is going to be on one. With WoodwardSports.com, all you got to do is click on that shop tab.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Woodward Sports is live in downtown Detroit for Tigers opening day.
This one's blasted out toward the bullpen.
Live from the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House.
Way back, forget it. Out of here.
Brought to you by White Claw.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got Tully, everybody. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning from Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
At Lady James, we take the pride of getting a haircut. Our talented stylists will deliver an industry-leading haircut, a relaxing scalp massage, a hot lather neck shave, that's my favorite, and a hot towel treatment. Hey,
towel placement varies.
Listen, you guys, no suggestions. Make sure you ask first, all right? Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady James Haircuts for me. It is wicked awesome. You know, we on that victory show vibes. The Detroit Red Wings, a 5-1 win over the Utah Hockey Club. We hope that those Detroit Pistons get a victory. And in the Red Wings again tonight. But before we get into that TLB, I need y'all to satisfy that like button.
Hey,
you know, back-to-back days.
I mean, it's
Sometimes
a little early, man. It's a little early.
Hey, you know,
it's hard to get it up this early.
Damn.
Hey, but you know, sometimes you got to spring into action. Listen, we don't need Rose Sparks for this one. We don't need Rose Sparks for this one. So just go ahead and hit that like button, man. Stiffen that finger up. You know, maybe massage it a little bit and just glaze it across that screen. We'd appreciate that.
Nasty T, I see you. Email me. Anybody who's still waiting, email me. Kool-Aid@woodwardsports.com, and we'll make sure that the merch gets taken care of. We're going through it one by one, and it's a process, but we'll make sure everybody gets their merch. So I see you in the chat, and thank you for the super chat as well. But the Detroit Lions, they make another signing to the secondary. We talked about it, Avonte Maddox of the Eagles, who just won the Super Bowl, and this is a person who's ecstatic to come back home and play. It was interesting because we were one of the first news organizations, media outlets, sports media outlets to actually put the news out there. But there was somebody who obviously beat us, and that was, his significant other in his life who posted that this is what they wanted. They've prayed for this, and she was excited for him to have this opportunity here. So shout out to Avonte Maddox. It'll be, I'm intrigued to see what you guys believe his role can be with this team, because it's another secondary player that Brad has added to this team, and it makes me wonder, what does it mean for the players here, and what does it mean for the draft strategy ahead as well as the play on the field?
I think Avonte Maddox is versatile depth, which is okay, by the way. And I'm going to look at this signing in a vacuum. I don't think the terms are even made available yet, which is fine. I assume that it's not going to be really much of anything. But Avonte Maddox, was good last year, I would say, in a lot of ways really good. I know that he started the season as the Eagles' slot corner, but eventually lost his job to Cooper DeJean, which there's no shame in that. I think we can all agree that Cooper DeJean is a special kind of talent. But regardless of what was going on, whether he was a starter, whether he played spot snaps, Avonte Maddox allowed a passer rating when targeted of less than 80 last year, which is really, really good. In 3 of the last 4 seasons with the Eagles, he's been a really good player. The only season where he struggled was 2023, but we all know what happened with the Eagles down the stretch, where a lot of players imploded and the coaching staff imploded. It wasn't just Avonte Maddox. There was just something rotten going on in Philadelphia at the end of 2023. Avonte Maddox was in the middle of it. Credit to the Eagles and Maddox himself. They rebounded in a 2024, but I think what is intriguing about Avonte Maddox is he plays mostly slot corner. That's really where he's made his bread and butter in the NFL. But he also can play a little safety. And I think that that's very intriguing and interesting as well. Because when I'm looking at a position that really needs more depth, I'm looking at the safety position. I'm looking at a situation where if Brian Branch or Kirby Joseph even goes down for a game, knock on wood, who's going to play? Maybe Avonte Maddox. But also, if Amik goes down at any point, Avonte Maddox can step right in and I think be very effective as a slot corner. So it's depth, but also somebody who's started on some really damn good teams in his career and can be a starter if he's called into it, because it's the NFL. I'm assuming he'll have to make at least a starter due to injuries, because it's just how the game is.
Yeah, but it's just another depth piece as it relates to a veteran who's also been in a room of a Super Bowl run. You talk about being able to impart that knowledge to some of these younger players like a Ennis Rakestraw who's in that room, like a Terrion Arnold, as well as on the field, they're going to do everything they can to push them as well. So it's not just somebody who is giving them advice, but it's also somebody who's going to be out there in the field and can still give it a go in practice, during training camp, and in games too. And so I'm looking forward to this. You know, when you talk about Kelvin Shepherd, I don't believe that you can give him too much veteran help out there on the field in the locker room as well. Because we want these guys to take that big step forward when we talk about Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. And I'm also appreciative of like the IQ that he has, his ability to kind of diagnose a play, especially in the run game as well. So in third down plays, goal line plays, depending on the different looks or packages that Kelvin Shepherd, aka KG, wants to be able to run. From a depth perspective, this guy's offering you so much versatility, and I like your perspective and wrinkle on as it relates to him being able to be adept with the safety as well. It's one of those things where Brad Holmes, we've seen him make signings where these players can realistically kind of play multiple positions. And when you talk about long-term success and longevity, those short-term deals where these guys can enter your squad, they have that same kind of vibe and character as your team. They can give you in spurts what you need. It was similar to like a Zadarius Smith. He fit the vibe. He gave us a good 4 sacks and held up his end of the bargain. And so, obviously I'm not expecting this to be as impactful, but in terms of the type of guy and the type of character, I do expect him to contribute somewhat.
No, absolutely. And surprise, surprise, I think this is a good move. And
Are you blowing your wad?
No, I might be. No, I'm talking shit. I was trying to get a reaction out of Flannel, but he focused right now. He focused on the chat. Y'all watch out on the chat.
No. It's Avonte Maddox. I basically wax poetic, so I'm okay with you liking this move.
What? I can like a role player around Flannel?
Wow. KG, Pat O'Connor and Avonte Maddox are not equal.
More on that in a minute.
I'm sure you'll say that they are, but go on.
Not at all. But more on that in a second. But
Jake Rogers or Avonte Maddox?
No, just speaking about the player himself, he is coming over from the Eagles. He's had a lot of experience. He's played on the outside. Most recently, like Sam said, he's played in the slot. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's been on both of the Eagles Super Bowl teams in the last 3 to 4 years. And he's been a contributor. And it looks like the Lions have a type. In terms of the type of corners that they've brought in this year, when you just look at, DJ Reed, he's a smaller corner, but he's faster and he's stickier in coverage. You can make that same argument for Avonte Maddox. He's a smaller corner, but when you look at the pass deflection stats, when you see how he plays, he's a physical corner that you can play in man. He's smaller, he's speedier, he can keep up with receivers. Rock Ya-Sin, kind of the same thing, although he's the taller of the additions, but he's only 6 foot. And he kind of has that same play style, really physical, sticky to the receiver, and he's a faster type corner. So I think the Lions have a plan here. And when you just look at what they've done so far with just the additions that they've made, if you paid attention, they've shored up the linebacker room first. That was like the first area that they really touched. They re-signed Derek Barnes, Trevor Nowalski, Anthony Pittman. They re-signed all of those guys. Grant Stewart, they brought in. They shored up the linebacker room. Then you look at defensive tackle room. They go out and get Roy. They re-sign Levi Onwuzurike. You're expecting Mekhi Wingo to come back. So in a lot of ways, you shored up your defensive tackle room. Then they attacked the corner room. You got Rock Ya-Sin. You got Avonte Maddox coming in. You got DJ Reed to already add to a Meek and TA and Rakestraw. We haven't seen what he's got going on just yet. So I think the Lions have a plan, and they're shoring up all their defensive positions. And the last position that they need to shore up is the edge position, if you pay attention. So I like what they're doing so far.
Yep, and ultimately you're not asking these guys to play like a high usage. You're not putting too much responsibility on them. You're giving them an opportunity to, within their play, within their opportunities, to just give all that they have. And Top of the Gable says, let Brad cook. And I heard you over there. You said you believe that there's a plan here. And I know one of the things about Brad Holmes was that he was supposed to be a secondary whisperer, especially cornerbacks. And now we see him loading up this secondary. And I wonder if this is even more akin to what he was trying to do before, but we had some injuries to guys like an Emmanuel Mosley, among others. And so I got to ask you, what exactly is Brad cooking with the secondary right now?
I mean, a lot of insurance. I will say that.
Sure
And
it
that's
up.
not a bad thing because you look at Rock Ya-Sin, and as KG said, he's a different type of corner than Avonte Maddox. He's going to play more on the outside. Avonte Maddox is going to be more of the slot corner safety hybrid type. You've obviously got your starters and Terrion and DJ Reed. You've got Ennis Rakestraw, who I know the Lions and all of us fans are hoping for a leap or just more games played. Hopefully both, but we shall see. The best safety duo in the league as of right now. I think Brad Holmes is really trying to make sure that disaster is averted. And I know last year people were not happy seeing Kindle Vildor on the field, even though I think he was a little bit overhated, but that's neither
Shout out
here.
my guy, Kindle Vildor.
That's neither here nor there, but the Lions have a lot of NFL caliber players who've been starters in this league in the secondary room, and I don't have really any problem with that aspect of a team building whatsoever.
And you replaced Emmanuel Mosley and Vildor with Rock Ya-Sin and Avonte Maddox. Those are upgrades. Like, yes, they're depth pieces, but they are upgrades. They are more experienced, and they fit more of what the Lions want to do defensively. So I'm really excited about it.
And he plays. We keep talking about the best ability is availability, and so now you're getting some depth pieces who
stay on the field.
Yeah, who stay on the field.
For at least 14 games a year, and that's all you can ask for.
That is it right there, and that's the point there when we talk about he has a type. Well, we've seen him. Definitely, he's going to flirt with Davenport again. But we've also seen him go out there and sign some players in the depth department who are going to be on the field, or at least to this point in their career, they have shown that they can be on the field. And that's what I look forward to with this Lions team, especially with what we have on the docket next, because I think that that's something that people underestimate. This Detroit Lions team was awesome last year, 15-2 with all the injuries. I think people are sleeping on just how much better they're going to be when those injuries disappear. And again, we knock on wood because I never would have predicted the devastation from from an injury standpoint last year. But I just don't see it running it back this year. And you got an angry Hutch. You got a Lions team that's probably a little agitated now to try and get to a Super Bowl after getting close 2 years in a row. And now you got the upstart Commanders.
Yeah.
Being everybody's kind of darling, which the Detroit Lions probably were just a couple years ago.
Oh, man. Nice segue there. Actually, I think this is a good time to move on because a ranking came out that I know E&E talked about yesterday, but we're going to go over as well. That is basically the way too early NFC Power rankings, and you'll be interested to see where everybody lies because even like there's the Lions, there is a lot of interesting rankings, but of course we're going to primarily focus on where the Lions are as opposed to where some of us or you guys in the chat think that they should be, who's overrated, who's underrated, whatever you guys, wherever we want to take this, that's where we'll go. It's going to be a fun discussion.
Yeah, before we do that, a quick shout out to Burn sending in a $5 super chat. We can go around the room and see how we feel about this real quick. Do you feel more confident if we need to rotate guys or guys have to take time off for injury after the free agency moves compared to before free agency?
Yes. Yes, because I think that Avonte Maddox and Rock Ya-Sin are very valuable depth pieces.
Yeah, if you're talking just secondary, definitely. Yeah. If they had Zadarius Smith here, I would be even more fired up about it.
Still not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. Hoping so, man. That boy, he wants to be here.
Yeah.
At least we know that.
Bring him home, man. Bring him home.
Bring him home.
We'll see what happens.
Bring him home. But yeah, we need to hear from Dr. Pierce.
Yes, sir. Attention sports fans. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offer you top-notch injury advice. You got to trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
The bats are hot, and the weather is getting hotter. Summertime in the D with Detroit's big hitters, Woodward Sports. Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and you know what? We still got some TLB. What up, though, KG?
Talk Lions, bitch.
Hey, word to our brother Matthew Broder. And you know what? Just real quick, the cast and the crew. We got KG, Detroit's #1 draft pick, in the TD booth. What up, though, bro?
Hey, feeling good, man. Feeling good.
Hey, Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth on a Victory Tuesday. So you're in the TD booth, man. In the T-Tops booth.
That's factual. In the T-Tops booth over here. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, chilling. We got Kavasi Chase in the building. Shout out to our brother, that dude Justin, working tough. Hey, boy, Brandon, AK Detroit, Kool-Aid, and Flannel Sam on the desk. And you know what? There's another ranking. It's exactly what we do during the off season, and it keeps things warm, man. It keeps the fire going. It's just a little bit of kindling. But FanDuel Sportsbook, they released their way too early NFC Power ranking list. It has the Lions third behind a couple teams there. Ooh. The Eagles and the upstart Commanders, man. And this is a tough one because they still have the Lions third, which that's crazy. Think about any other time in NFL history where they're absolutely like, yo, these Detroit Lions are going to be third, even with Super Bowl winners and upstart Commanders, who I know are the darlings. Those Lions still come in at number 3, and I still believe, though, Flannel Sam, they are just a little underrated by these rankings.
This is tough because I think you can argue certainly that the Lions are going to be better than the Commanders, that the Lions have a better roster, certainly at certain positions than the Commanders, but I don't think that it's wise to be upset with this because at the end of the day, the Commanders, they did what they had to do. They went to the NFC Championship game. They've got a rookie quarterback who looks like he's a future superstar. They made some nice moves of their own, getting a guy like Laramie Tunsil. You know, you've got re-signing Bobby Wagner. You got Frankie Louvu. You've got Terry McLaurin, et cetera, et cetera. They also lost some very important pieces, and they have some deficiencies, which I will highlight a little bit later. But when my first look, at least when it comes from the Eagles to the Lions, is I may disagree slightly, but the Commanders right now they just have those bragging rights. They did what they had to do in the playoffs. Even though the Lions were depleted, the Commanders did what they had to do in the playoffs.
And that's where I kind of push back on the way too early rankings. If this is about your season end rankings, then I'm completely fine with how this list will look. But if you're talking about your way too early rankings of the NFC, then you're telling me that the return of Aleem McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, is not going to mean much in a matchup against the Commanders. And that, to me, I believe is just a little bit too disrespectful, even if it's razor-thin margin. I do believe that a healthy Detroit Lions team, knock on wood, is a better team than the Washington Commanders. And that's no slight at Jaden Daniels, who I had a lot of hope in, or belief in, not hope, but belief in last year that he would be Offensive Rookie of the Year and make a difference for that Commanders team. And he was special. we've seen this before, and we've seen teams like Stroud, who I don't believe is as special quarterback, but still really good, and that Texas team take a little bit of a step back in year 2 of that ascension. And so that's why I'm like, listen, we got a Lions team who just had Jared Goff top 5 MVP voting. I know Jaden Daniels is going to make his ascension into a lot of these conversations and lists as well. But when you look at this defense, when you look at how this offense has continued to just hum along, and I'm expecting players like J-Mo to take a big step forward. I'm expecting Jahmyr Gibbs to start the season off as we saw him end it, just as the absolute workhorse. And that's where I do believe, yeah, this isn't something to cry about. I do believe, based on the annals and the pantheon of just Lions history, this is actually pretty good. But just that Commanders one, it just leaves a little bit more to be desired, because I do believe the Lions are a much better team.
What are you smiling at?
Nah, Kool-Aid, because I know he feel a way about it. I know he do. I remember that. I remember that week on the desk, bro. Trust me, I get it. Whenever the list starts,
I'm a changed man.
Yeah, yeah, right. Okay. Whenever the list starts with way too early, you should just automatically turn your brain off. Don't put too much stock into it. It is what it is, man. And to be honest, I'm not mad at this. Now, if the Lions were below the Rams, I'm pissed off. I got something to talk about.
Yeah, you went with the way too early.
We way too early. We know what this is. This is recency bias. We got to give it up. The Commanders beat us in the playoffs. They obviously view that as, okay, this is Jaden Daniels coming out party. He's the next coming. We saw this with C.J. Stroud. And I'm glad you brought the C.J. Stroud point up. And not to say it was all his fault that they regressed in year 2, but, you know, he just didn't go out there and do what a lot of people thought that he would do. Like, some people thought that he would be an MVP conversation, and that most definitely didn't happen for him, although they were a semi-decent team. But, yeah, just – I think this is fair, man. I'm not tripping over this. Like I said, this is recency bias based on the fact that they beat us in the playoffs. If you want to make arguments about roster construction, I think the Lions do have an advantage in that area. Of course, like to Sam's point, Washington did make some okay moves in free agency, and, you know, still you have to see what they do in the draft. But overall, I'm not mad at this, man. It is what it is.
Their front office has been they've been on point. I know they came here and they didn't leave a Ben Johnson, but they did leave us some front office personnel. And when I do look at this, it almost reads similar maybe to a quarterback ranking almost in the NFC as well. When you just look at the teams.
That's essentially what it is.
Yeah,
it is my quarterback ranking.
Right.
That literally was. But go ahead.
That's what it reads to me. And that's where the most intriguing team or interesting team is the Bears. Man, they get the Ben Johnson bump, I guess. Pause.
Yeah.
Because they're going to believe a lot in what he can do for Caleb Williams in that Bears offense. And they didn't sit idly by. Obviously, they went and made some amendments to that offensive line, which is going to be vital to be able to keep Caleb Williams in a position where he can play quarterback and not make plays scrambling for his life. That, to me, is the one thing that I am intrigued with when you look at this list is, will Ben Johnson put Caleb Williams more in a position where he can just play quarterback? Because we saw him under duress making plays consistently, Flannel.
Well, that's the thing, is when it comes to Caleb Williams, you could say that his supporting cast, at least on paper, and in terms of what they did last year with some players, not all was talented, and he was in a situation that was more conducive for a number 1 overall pick to succeed than previous number 1 overall picks, like, for example, Jared Goff in his rookie season and Matthew Stafford in his rookie season, just to name a few that are close to home. But at the same time, Caleb Williams did not get good coaching. Nobody thinks that Matt Eberflus or whoever they had as their offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, and then the whole Thomas Brown experiment where he was the OC, then he was the interim coach. Nobody says what would actually tell you that that's good coaching and that Ben Johnson at least won't be an upgrade over that. I believe Ben Johnson is going to work in Chicago, not because I want it to, but because it's just what I think. I think Caleb Williams is very talented. I think that they made a couple of wise moves on their offensive line with Drew Dahlman and Joe Tooney, but I do not like the Jonah Jackson signing. Just like on their D-line, I have some questions about Grady Jarrett. I think that might turn out to be a bad contract. And Deo from Indianapolis, I think he was a little bit overpaid. So we'll see. The Bears kind of did what the Bears do. But I do think what they're going to do to their offensive line and their coaching upgrade will give at least Caleb Williams a bump. What does that mean? I don't think it should mean that they should be ranked 5 in an NFC Power ranking, but I think they'll be better.
Them over the Packers is egregious. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, that's why.
I'm not going to lie to you. I hate the Packers. Y'all know that.
That is wild.
I'm just sitting here looking at this style like, man, yeah, it's pretty wild there. Because I was going to say, man, the implications for your NFC North is pretty wild. They really believe those Bears are going to make that type of a jump and leapfrog the Packers and the Vikings. But I do believe this is another year where you're going to see the NFC North be one that is, just on the cusp. We're getting at least 3 teams into the playoffs. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk, but we saw the Detroit Lions sweep this division last year, and they weren't that healthy to do it either. So I'm excited for what the Lions can be, and the fact that the general consensus is that this is still a really good football team.
Yeah.
Damn good. Really good football team. And I do have a question for you guys as it relates to this way too early list. Obviously, for certain reasons, the Eagles, Super Bowl winners, you tip the cap to them.
Yeah.
The Commanders just beat you in the playoffs. You tip the cap to them, so we remove them from the list. Out of these teams that are ranked behind the Lions, is there anybody that you think is a legitimate threat to them in this NFC?
No.
Honestly, you want to go?
No. My answer is pretty short and sweet. No. Matthew Stafford is on the decline. The Rams are still a good team. Don't get me wrong, but they are not. Their defense is young. They have potential, but they got to figure out their quarterback situation eventually. So just for that reason alone, I don't think they're any threat. The Bears and Packers, they got to prove it to me. I'm sorry. The Lions still run this division.
Yeah, Jordan Love still has a lot to prove to me.
49ers are dead. Buccaneers, okay. No, I'm not worried about anybody else.
I think the Rams are going to win 12 games.
What
does that mean?
Wow.
What does that mean? It might mean that they're the 3 seed. That might mean that they're still worse off than the Lions, but I really like the Rams. I think Stafford, you're putting dirt over his grave way too soon. He was damn good in the playoffs.
I just said they a good team still, but he is on the decline. I don't think there's any argument there. He's on the decline. He still looks all right in decline, but in the next 2 years, he will not be the quarterback of that team.
But I'm talking about this year. And Kyron Williams, he's one of the best running backs. I think the Devontae Adams signing to pair him with Puka Nacua that could end up being deadly. I think it'll actually work more than recent Cooper Kupp did because of Cooper Kupp's injuries. I like their offensive line, Alaric Jackson, Rob Havenstein, Kevin Dotson, Steve Avila. Their D-line, we all know, is young and very talented
Stafford
with Verse
still gonna get hit around.
And Braden Fisk and Kobe Turner and Byron Young. They've got some nice players in the secondary as well. Not an elite secondary by any means, but Akello Witherspoon is good.
Yeah.
Darius Williams is good.
They're
Their
still
safeties
young.
are all right. But I think that the Rams are going to be formidable. I'm not saying that they're going to overtake the Lions or beat them in the playoffs. I'm just saying that I think the Rams are going to be good.
And just to add to that, Xavier D says, Sam is right. The Rams' schedule is very weak. But what up, Dokavasia?
Effort for that Super Bowl, but he wasn't even a top 10 player on that entire roster. Like, he got carried, and he got so lucky. The poor defensive call in the Bucs game where they blitzed Antoine Winfield instead of doubling Cooper Kupp on that 3rd and 27 just still baffles me and makes no sense at all whatsoever.
I think carried is a little strong.
I think that's
carried just
strong.
a little bit strong. I agree with you, but carried is a little.
That was a great throw.
He got lucky.
That was a great throw. I understand.
Logan Wilson got incorrectly flagged for pass interference or defensive holding.
No, correct. He still made the throw.
He's an NFL quarterback. You should be able to make that throw one time.
Shit,
Jesus,
okay.
he's Stafford. Like I said, he's overly glazed.
It sounds so simple. I know.
But no Krispy Kreme for
No, but he made plays during that playoff.
I just think discrediting Super Bowl runs is wild because.
He had a good
I'm saying
run.
give credit to the whole
He
roster.
retired
Everyone
right
tries
now
to
first
people try to
time,
credit just Stafford. He was like I said, he was not a top 10 player on that entire roster.
I think he probably.
not at all.
If we could reconstruct
not
it,
at all. He's not sniffing the top 10.
I want to agree, vague, bro.
I want to agree with Chase so bad, but
he's in the top 10.
Let's go look at that roster.
He's in the top 10.
Dude, go look at that roster. Go break down that roster. He was not top 10 on that roster.
Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Andrew Whitworth. I'll give you that. I'll give you Cooper Kupp. Obviously, Cooper Kupp had the best wide receiver season ever. If I'm missing anybody, let me know.
Stafford right there, 7-8.
I would probably say Stafford.
Yeah, come on, bro.
But
you got to give him a little more respect than that. Just a little bit.
He can be 11th.
Because you know how we would do if Jared Goff wins a Super Bowl. We already know what Detroit will do to put the cape on for Jared Goff.
No,
we already know.
And I think Stafford earns some credit, and it's also not even
Absolutely
just the Super Bowl season. I'm talking about ever since he's been on the Rams, he's had a playoff quarterback rating, which is above the highest quarterback. It's at about 109. That's really, really good. Like Stafford, I understand that. I understand if you're not a fan, if like you think he's a little bit overhyped, but he's been really, really good. I'm not in the business of discrediting Super Bowl runs in which Stafford had 9 touchdowns.
And players like that are so dangerous because of his IQ and his savvy. It's those end of games, end of season pressure moments that even us as Lions fans have seen Stafford thrive in. And that's where we saw the Rams last year thrive in, despite the fact that they had some issues injury-wise and production-wise from some of their players. So that's where it's like, that's why I wanted to ask the question as well. The Rams are the ones that they went, and I think they made more effective tweaks to their roster than even the Bears, who I know a lot of people are bullish on what the Bears can be this year. The Rams, to me, are the one that I'm looking at. The Packers, I still don't respect.
Yeah.
I still don't respect. They just keep running their mouths. People continue to want to crown Jordan Love. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but he just isn't a quarterback to me that has ascended past where everybody wants to put him in the quarterback rankings beyond Jared Goff. I just don't see it, man. And he has a lot more to do to lead that team in this NFC North, because I do believe that they've been set up well to battle the Lions.
Yeah.
But they just have gotten worked. That's just how it's turned out. And I do believe Jordan Love is going to be ultimately the main cog for what they do to be able to firmly be second place and challenge the Lions in that NFC North.
If Jordan Love go out and put up a year that he put up last year, I don't know if they continue with him as quarterback, to be real.
Okay.
No.
They paid him. You act like he had 12 touchdowns and 20 picks last year. Come on.
You talking about the Packers, bro. And I'm once again, he's not bad. But he's not Packers standard. He's not the type of quarterback that is going to get you far if he continues to play like this. That's all I'm saying. The Packers are going to have a very, very low tolerance if he continues to go out there and not get it done. It's the fact.
Tommy Cutlets.
I can see
that. They won double-digit games and it didn't mean shit.
Okay, but they won double-digit games.
And they've won double-digit games the last 4 to 5 years, and it didn't mean shit.
And I'm not saying that he's great or anything. You're acting like he's Daniel Jones.
They did that with Aaron Rodgers. It didn't mean shit. Like, I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to continue to put up with that.
Bench Jordan Love. That's insane, KG. That's hater shit. That's haterade. That's okay. That's okay.
I'm not saying Matt Stafford should be 11. But
both of you are on some hater shit today.
You said they were better with Malik Willis? What'd you say?
I ain't say that.
Don't.
I ain't say that.
Okay.
That was cracking me up, dog. And that was cracking me up. Hey, Diz, I see your...
Bro, they done had 6 years with the guy. That's all I'm saying. Like, this ain't like he a spring chicken, a young player. They done had 6 years in the system with this guy. And clearly, he might not be it. That's all I'm saying.
But I think he's it in terms of being a franchise quarterback, the degree of which I think we can have a discussion.
I was about to say franchise to what, a first-round bounce out?
But that's by definition. But was Kirk Cousins a franchise quarterback? That's where we have to have the definition of like franchise quarterback.
Fair.
And mine is Matt Ryan was a franchise quarterback.
He was. But at least he got to a Super Bowl.
He did. He didn't want an MVP.
Rude in the chat agrees with you, though. He says, I think they will move on from Love in a couple years.
I'm telling you, it's the Packers, bro.
Well, you said
different.
After this year.
Yeah, you said after this year.
Okay, yeah, not after this year, but going forward. He'll be on notice.
Yeah, I love Lions fans, too. Love has had a half of a season of good play. Lions fans, man, Love was garbage last year. That's from Danny G. Take all the shots that you want and that you need to at the Packers and one Jordan Love. But ADIS 411, his rankings: Eagles 1, Lions 2, Commanders 3, Rams 4, Packers 5.
I think, and people are going to call me like a love glazer now. I think people are just mad at people like Easy.
Love glazer.
People are just mad at people. To say that he was terrible last year is just incorrect. Did he have a slight regression? Sure he did. Did he have some injury issues at the beginning of the year? Absolutely he did. But he wasn't terrible. He was, like I said, he is a franchise quarterback. It's just, can you win a Super Bowl with him? Can you win multiple playoffs games with him? We'll see.
You think the Packers just about to sit back and let the Lions just continue to run this goddamn division? You see, they get mad about division banners, let alone just Jordan Love not get them to where they want to go. I'm just saying, I just think the clock is on him after this season if he doesn't deliver.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And you know what? Another question about this list. When we talk about those teams above them, what are the Lions? What happens for you this year that sees the Lions propel above the Commanders and the Eagles in this list to be the number 1 team again in the NFC.
Well, there's a couple of things when it comes to the Commanders which I wanted to highlight. They lost a couple of important players. They lost Dante Fowler Jr. He was their only double-digit sack guy last year. He signed in free agency with the Cowboys, and I don't think that the Commanders adequately replaced him. I think that their pass rush has a lot of questions. They might be looking to go that way in the draft as well as the Lions. They lost Jeremy Chin, who obviously we know Jeremy Chin all too well for what happened in the playoff game. He was their second leading tackler. He's a damn good safety. They lost Olamide Zaccheaus. I don't think that's going to be a big deal because I think that they had made some upgrades in the wide receiver room. I think Debo is a question, but I think he'll still be solid. I think Michael Gallup is potentially intriguing after missing last year due to injury. They re-signed Noah Brown. They have Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz. Jonathan Allen was another one they lost. I think Javon Kinlaw is a downgrade personally to Jonathan Allen, even though Jonathan Allen missed half the season. And to go back to Jeremy Chin, this is where I think the Commanders are either not done looking in the draft or potentially committing malpractice. The guy who is listed on the Commanders depth chart, now that Jeremy Chin is gone, as their starting strong safety, we know him very well, Will Harris. That is not acceptable for a Super Bowl contending team to have Will Harris as your starting safety. It's not acceptable for a Super Bowl contending team to have the pass rush that they do with Cleveland Farrell and Dorrance Armstrong. Dorrance Armstrong is good, but Cleveland Farrell, I see him more as a defensive tackle. So the Commanders, my point with all of that is they've made some good moves. They've got a lot of talent, but they're going to potentially be deficient in some ways that might cost them some wins, honestly, especially the pass rush. Dante Fowler Jr. was like saved their ass sometimes last year, and now he's just gone and they didn't replace him.
Yep, and you know what? That's actually it's pretty astute because you talk about in the playoffs seeing what their pass rush was able to do to make things uncomfortable for Jared Goff, and if they're taking a step back in that department, and you're talking about the Detroit Lions actually getting healthy, and one thing that I do believe is going to help to propel them above the Commanders and even have an opportunity to be in contention with the Eagles atop the NFC is Jahmyr Gibbs. I believe that a dose of Jahmyr Gibbs, what we saw at the end of the last season, not just the guy who was still really good and complimentary to David Montgomery, but I just believe who he is as a weapon overall in the pass game and in the run game is going to be one of the most unstoppable forces in all of the NFC from an offensive standpoint. And I do believe it's going to make this Detroit Lions offense that much more dynamic. We talked about last year how we thought J-Mo, if he just kind of has slightly a breakout, the fact that all of his catches seem to just be long catches, long passes, his ability to change the way that the defense is defend things underneath or pick your poison, he's going to catch a 60 yards in the air, 83 yards total touchdown bomb from one Jared Goff. And so now I do believe you're talking about J-Mo getting a little bit better over the top. Defenses are going to have to pick their poison. And one play action, I say it all the time, with Jahmyr Gibbs back there, I just think that's a death lineup for any defense that's facing the Detroit Lions.
Well, and that's where when you look at the Commanders, when you look at the Lions, you can look at just positional groups. Which one would you rather have? Running back, obviously Lions. Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler are fine, but the majority of their rushing yards not the majority, but the player who led their team in rushing last year was Jaden Daniels. Testament to him, but Lions clear in terms of running backs. If you look at pass catchers, I think the Commanders have a good group, but I still think the Lions clear. Offensive line, I do love what the Commanders did with Laramie Tunsil, but that's still the Lions. They have the better offensive line. When you look at defensive line, I would probably say Lions. I think Javon Kinlaw is a downgraded Jonathan Allen, and they did not replace Dante Fowler Jr., and the Lions are getting Aiden Hutchinson back and a Lee McNeil at some point during the season. If you look at maybe the linebacker room, you could possibly give the edge to the Commanders. Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu.
Those they dogs.
Yeah, especially at this stage. You look at corners.
Louvu made me a believer.
Yeah. If you look at, but that's the thing. If you don't want to separate corners and safeties, when you go through the secondary as a whole, I would say the Lions as well. I think the cornerback room, it's debatable. But the safety room, it's not debatable. It's the Lions. But to me, what could potentially be the smoking gun for the Washington Commanders, and I know a lot of fans aren't going to like this, I think Jaden Daniels is better than Jared Goff. This is not a slight at Goff.
Already?
It's just that I put him up ahead on my list earlier, so this isn't something new. I think Jaden Daniels he's got MVPs and Super Bowl MVPs in his future. I think he showed that last year that he's the most talented quarterback in the NFC, and that man put up numbers.
Did you check and make sure Stick was not around when you said that, Flynn?
But that's not controversial.
He's known to pop up.
Coming here and sandbag the show again.
He's known to pop up at a time or two when you sit here and disrespect his quarterback.
Well, but the reason why I brought all of that up is in most positional groups, I would still have the Lions over the Commanders. I think that they're a better constructed roster as of now. And I think when it comes to positions like running backs, it's the Lions and it's not even close.
Yeah,
like
not at all.
That's where, for whatever I believe, because I believe that Jaden Daniels is better than Jared Goff. But when you talk about the backfield as a whole, whatever Jared Goff lacks, which isn't a lot, by the way, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are on the backfield. And we all know that I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a 2,000 yards from scrimmage season.
And I do still believe that Jared Goff is going to find himself in the conversation for top 5 in the MVP voting again.
He could.
I just do.
He could, absolutely. I think they both, there's a very good chance that the top 5 will consist of both of them.
And there you go. I was trying to throw the lob because obviously, a lot of people aren't going to like the fact that you have Jaden Daniels above Jared Goff after just one season, but it's not a slight on who Jared Goff is as a quarterback from you.
No, it's I've got, if just to rehash my NFC quarterback rankings, I've got Jalen Hurts 1 because of what he's done over his career, and the Super Bowl MVP I think puts him over the top. I think he was underrated last year for just being that guy who took care of the football. I got Jaden Daniels 2 because of what I saw in the regular season, greatest rookie season ever. Greatest rookie season period.
I think you're giving him that nod because he's a dual threat and he's efficient at running the football. So no slight there. I think it's a little too soon to crown him just yet because, like I said, we made the same mistake with C.J. Stroud. However, I need to see him develop a little bit more as a passer. Not saying he's not a decent passer already, but he's only had Terry McLaurin as his main receiver. You really want to see what this kid can do if he has to sit back, drop back, and throw 30 times a game. That's all I'm saying. But I just think it's a tad too soon.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because we know that a healthy Lions defense puts a little bit more pressure and makes things a lot more uncomfortable for Jaden Daniels. The one thing we were talking about at the beginning of the season that the Detroit Lions lost at the end of it was how quickly they made even some of the best quarterbacks in the league have to make decisions. They were talking about the fact that they have 1 second less. I would have loved to be able to see that because there were plays that Jaden Daniels was able to extend with his feet many times. And we know the Buffalo Bills game. Josh Allen came in here and was playing freaking 500 on our defense, bro. And it's because we really couldn't generate what we needed to get into the backfield. But both of those teams hurried our quarterbacks to start both of those games. Think back to the Bills game and to the Commanders game. Both of them brought a brand of pass rush that I wasn't even expecting.
Yeah.
And it made things very uncomfortable and got us off to some horrible starts in both of those games. And with Jared Goff, the turnovers in that game against the Commanders, which would represent an implosion of the offense, and then you talk about the defense and all of its injuries, which represents an implosion of the defense. It took all of that for the Commanders and how special Jaden Daniels was to have that type of a victory. And I just see things going so much more different if it's Hutch out there, Aleem out there, and Jared Goff, who, as you said, for most of that season last year, played clean football. And I still believe they played clean football against the Commanders. I think we're talking even differently about how their season is.
Oh, 100%. I think if Jared Goff plays a typical Jared Goff game, they
win. Special Jaden Daniels was.
They win, but that's also an indictment on Jared Goff. And I'm not going to belabor that for too long because everybody has a chance to right whatever wrongs that they committed this season. And I think it's an incredible opportunity. We'll see. I think the bottom line is that the Eagles, they're the juggernaut right now. They won the Super Bowl. They lost some players, but they've got some draft picks who are going to continue to develop, and they recently got Azeez Ojulari. The Commanders, they're up and coming. They've got what I think a lot of people, although most people in the chat seem to think that he's going to be a bum later, but I think he's going to be that Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. I really do. And then we'll see. The Lions, though, they've got the personnel, which could be a historic offense. I'm not saying that it's necessarily going to be, but they have that personnel, and they've got arguably the best defensive player in football coming back.
Yep.
It's a very interesting discussion.
It's definitely interesting. And those lists, it honestly, yes, KG, I agree with you. It is way too early, but it does provide some conversation, some context to conversation as well to see what some of these sports books are feeling, what some of the media is feeling, what some of the content creators are feeling as we're getting closer and closer to the draft. Because what will be interesting, just one more quick question here is just which team has the opportunity to improve the most after the draft? And that's where I do believe Brad Holmes has put the Detroit Lions team in a position to go out there and improve the pass rush and add to what I believe is already a much better pass rush than the Commanders. Can the Commanders improve in the draft? Yes, they can. But I just believe that the Detroit Lions and Brad Holmes have an opportunity to go there and make sure that they add some good rotational, potentially starter-level pass rush help and offensive line help as well to beef up the trenches on this team.
Well, what's funny is when you look at the top 4 of the NFC rankings, I think you've got 3 of the probably 4 best GMs in all of football. Yeah. You've got Howie Roseman, you got Brad Holmes, you got Les Snead. The Commanders, they've had some draft picks, but Jaden Daniels is obviously like a star one. Sanders still was a great as well, but I think that all of those teams in the top 4 are set to have a good draft and add players that make immediate impacts. And we hope that Brad Holmes just has another one of those special drafts, and the players that he's drafted, and some of them have re-signed and are going to be re-signed, that some of them maybe even take more of a leap. With some of those players, it doesn't seem possible, but who knows?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I know we got everybody's favorite segment right around the corner. That is what's trending with JBSmooovv. And I'm looking forward to these Detroit Lions taking a nice leap forward in these standings, at least just ahead of those Commanders after this draft, because I know Brad Holmes is going to cook up. But what friends you want to say what up, though, to JBSmooovv?
I will let you know in a second. We do have a couple super chats we got to clear up before we move on to the next segment.
Hey,
shout out to Burn, $5 sending in. He said the Bears being top 5 is that Chicago media trap at work. Those people fall for it every year.
Yeah.
Packers is a fall from grace. Media has no love for love. Once again, Jordan Love there. And $4.99 from Dante151. Question: would anyone be surprised if the Rams drafted a QB in the first round like a Jalen Milroe or a Jason Dart?
No.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
They almost didn't have Stafford this year. No, that would not surprise me. Like I said, he's on the tail end of his career, guys. Like, he can't go out there and keep taking too many lumps. So
is what it is.
Jalen
but
Milroe.
Yeah, Jaden. Now, if they draft Jaden Milroe, that's a mistake. But yeah, I can see them drafting the QB.
All right. We need to hear from follow us on socials and Jars.
Follow us on socials, everybody, and I'm telling you, man, it's been paying dividends for some of our followers. Stay connected with Woodward Sports on all platforms. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, along with YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok for the latest sports news, live updates, and behind-the-scenes action. And don't miss out, because we also have, in addition to the content, in addition to keeping you guys updated on news, we got giveaways from cash, tickets, we have jersey giveaways, and you know what? These Pistons in the playoffs, guys want to stay tapped in. So hit that follow button now and be a part of Detroit's #1 digital sports network at Woodward Sports everywhere.
And while you're following us on all socials, relax a little bit with some Jars Cannabis. Because whether you're hitting the game or just simply chilling, Jars has you covered. Michigan's largest line of recreational cannabis products, 27 locations across the state, 9 alone in Metro Detroit. So there's always one close nearby you. And don't fear, if you live in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, or Milan, Michigan, stores are popping up your way very, very soon. If you don't have time to check them out in store, you can always look online at jarscannabis.com. Because you know what? I know you want to get high.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, Les Stanford Buick and GMC has a great offer for everyone. Get a 2024 Envision for only $299 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $229 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $799 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, LesStanford.com.
Hey,
and
what up, though?
Let me tell you about Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Shout out Stick
what
right
up, though,
there.
Caesar?
What up, Stick? Scan the QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet. If it doesn't hit, it'll go right back into your account. Hey, you know what? If you bet on Utah yesterday, guess what? That 20 is right back into your account. No questions asked. Scan the QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000. You know what? Make some money tonight.
Hey, make some money, y'all. What up, though? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. It's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential pistol reporter, writer for the network, Flannel Sam, Red Wings correspondent, all sports knower. And you know what? The Super Bowl Cartier, I see you in the chat, man. He's going ham right now in defense of Jared Goff. He says golf haters are slow.
What? Oh, boy.
He said golf haters are slow. He said, I bet if golf was on another team, these golf haters would be begging to trade for him. He said, that's just how it goes. It takes real football eyes to understand when you have a winner. Mind you, this is over like 8 different posts. He's going crazy. Dude just led us to 15 wins with no defense. He doesn't have to be Superman, even though he is. Shout out Jared Goff. Superman.
The only thing you can really
is that Stick's burner?
Oh, it might be.
It might be.
It might be. I wouldn't be surprised. You see him on his phone literally as he speaks.
Like, hey, let me see. If I see another one go, hey, he's typing and here it is. I was just summoning that man's Stick, Super Bowl Cartier.
I think Goff has proved more than enough that he is one of the top 5 to top 10 quarterbacks in this league. He's being measured by can you get a Super Bowl or not at this point. That's the only thing you can really knock him on at this point. And listen, I'm a Goff supporter, but last year wasn't good enough. Point blank, flat out. And I think we all know that. I think he knows that. Anyway, that wasn't good enough.
Top 5 MVP.
That's all regular season shit. We in different waters now.
That's part of last year.
We in different waters now. This is once again not Goff slander. He knows he needs to be better, and I expect him to do as such.
Hey man, let's rock. Let's spark up words of John.
Well, you got mosquitoes just buzzing around, you know.
Stick, boy.
Y'all act like I planned this, right? I just walk in to dap y'all up every morning just to say hi to everybody, having fun.
Wait. All right.
Oh my God.
Would you like to read that?
This is great.
Time, Flannel.
This is great.
All right. Now go off Stick. Go on now. You can go.
No, Flannel. Can you read that, please?
What do I have to read?
Flannel's voice. This is epic.
Warning, the following views and opinions do not reflect those of Wake Up Woodward, i.e. Kool-Aid, Flannel, KG, JB, Chase, Willie B, and Justin. Opinions may cause excessive laughter, intense debates, and spontaneous hot takes. Listener discretion is advised, as side effects may include yelling at your phone, tablet, or computer, questioning Stick's sports knowledge, and an irrational belief that your favorite team and or players is actually good. We accept no responsibility for broken TVs or emotional distress. Enjoy at your own risk.
JBSmooovv, kick it up.
All right, now go off Stick.
Well, it's funny you guys did that because we should have played that yesterday because Someone went on my wife's wedding photos yesterday.
What?
Holy shit.
No.
Whoa!
What? Whoa!
Let me, can I send it to you, JB, so you can throw it up on screen?
That is crazy, bro.
My wife is getting up, going to the hospital this morning because that's where she works, at the hospital. She got the early shift today. She gets up at 5 a.m. I wake up to, baby, someone's talking crazy about you on my Instagram. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's wild.
And I was like, oh, dude, like some dude's trying to say I cheated or like some dumb shit from my past, some dumb chick I don't want to deal with anymore trying to start drama. But no, it's this guy. Oh, sorry, I was too busy telling the story to drop it to JB.
Right.
What Slack you in?
You sure it wasn't your old work? No.
So I want to show y'all what I got to deal with every day. Select photos. 1 and 2.
We need the Jeopardy music in here, I swear.
Sorry.
We got to put that
the
in
Jared Goff segment.
Well, I'll start reading it before JB puts it up. So we'll get right to it. It says it says. There we go. There we go. It's set. So what I'm learning is the people that love Cade are very sensitive.
It was a Cade defender.
Yeah, not only a Cade defender, he's you, KG.
I'm not leaving a paragraph
boy
in your
right
right
here.
Let's see what it says.
Let's
before
not
we
guilty
get
by
into it.
association.
Not even close. Never would I do this.
Yeah, zoom in. All right. The only place I can find this fucking moron to tell him he's an idiot. Not my favorite post to do it on, but it is what it is. Mind you, it's on my wedding picture anniversary post that my wife put up. Cade had more wins his rookie year without Ivy than Ivy did his rookie year without Cade. Cade was way more wins this year without Ivy than Ivy has ever had. So you're just wrong about that. Second, just because somebody has more trade value does not mean they are automatically who you should trade. I would rather have Cade and build around him than the asset that I can get for Ivy than trade Cade and build around Ivy. If you have multiple good players, you want to trade somebody to... So this guy, he went into his deep feelings, and it's one of y'all listeners, so hopefully he's watching right now. Soup of the Day on Instagram.
He not in our chat.
This dude definitely has dyed his hair blue at some point. What he said, again, apologizing for doing this on this post. Throw up the next one.
He apologized?
Oh my God.
That's crazy part. He know he on bullshit.
So he's well aware that what he's doing is beyond belief, right? He knows he's an idiot.
Man, we discovered sticks and flannels burners on the same
come
day.
on. Come on.
Yeah, man.
I don't have a Twitter, and you don't respond to YouTube comments.
I do it.
You talk a lot of shit for someone who's the worst personality on your own network.
Jesus
it's funny
Christ.
to hear you say you build a team around Ivy that would compete for a championship, but you can't even build a team around yourself in the actual industry that actually likes you. I imagine you'll delete this. See, no, you got me all wrong, brother. Rather than responding, here's your response. You'll deflect and come after me instead of responding to the points I made.
Yeah.
But I guess you win for being fucking annoying that you got me to comment at you.
Listen, man.
I was okay with his basketball talk.
Yeah,
but you can't say don't personally attack me after he's on your wedding
Yeah,
photo
no,
personally
that's
attacking you
That's
in the same
crazy.
post.
Listen, I do not condone the tactics.
That's your
but what
people,
he's saying,
KG.
though.
That's your people,
What he's
KG.
saying, though. Besides the fact that stick sucks, I don't think stick sucks. But everything else, though, valid. though. That's all I'm saying.
They're
I
the
don't
most
agree with the
sensitive.
tactics. I do
Most
not agree
sensitive fans I'm finding out are Cade fans. They were sensitive about cheers at LCA. Now they're sensitive.
Hey, you know what?
about this.
Put on for Cade Cunningham,
MVP. MVP.
Yeah,
MVP.
I love
Fuck that
Cade,
Jared
but I don't
Goff
get
shit,
my
man.
feelings. Good God.
Holy shit, that's hilarious. He literally apologized for commenting in your wife's photo to continue.
What?
He
That's it.
continues to do so. That is wild. That's wild, bro. Oh my God.
Damn.
Some of these
Two
people,
pages.
I do not condone the tactics.
we need probably a
I don't.
literal Swisher break.
So I really wish you
some
would
of
have
these
played
people,
that.
dog.
I wish you would have had that disclaimer yesterday, because maybe it would have helped this child from coming to my page at Stick Radio. If any of y'all want to find me on social media.
Hey, Stick, it was not. He wrote 2 whole pages
Yeah,
worth of
that was
bullshit.
the most personal.
That will not stop him.
He had us in the chamber.
Damn.
Damn, that's crazy.
How many words was that? That's a thesis.
Yeah, no, for real. He was pissed off.
Oh man. Spark it up, man. We need to suss it, JB.
Let's do this.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Here's Jeremy.
In the T-Tides booth. Two of them things.
Oh, what's going on, chat family? That was a wild segment we just had to go through. Once again, I feel like I need a disclaimer for all these videos I'm about to play once again, because once again, I don't know if any of these people are okay. I'll simply put that out there first. But have you guys ever been just too gassed at the gym that, you know, your last set, you just pass out?
What the fuck? What is that?
What is he even lifting?
It's one of those weird...
yeah.
Oh, with the cover over it. Okay, yeah.
Oh no!
God damn. Oh! Broken ribs.
Something broken.
My
I know
man
that.
got ran over by a Flintstone tire.
Look at his reaction when it fell on him, bro. You know that shit hurt. Jesus Christ.
Oh!
What? Look.
Oh God!
Yeah, he cooked.
You see him like flailing around.
I see he cooked, bro.
He definitely broke something.
He
so.
needs like a tough guy in training body cast, bro. Sheesh.
God damn.
Like I said, all of these are a tough guy in training, and once again, I don't know if they're okay, but here's another tough guy in training. When showing off goes wrong, remember to make sure you clear all body parts before you drop the weights.
Oh!
No!
Not the knee, dog. Holy.
Oh, is he getting up? Is he getting up? Was it just like a bruise?
That's
he
more than
getting
a
up?
bruise.
Oh, that's. Oh my God.
There's like
took an
It's
arrow
not
to
even
the
the
knee.
knee. It looks like he's gonna pull his hip out of its socket.
Oh, it does.
See,
On
make
that
sure
left
you
side.
That's nasty.
make
bro.
sure all body parts are out of the way before you drop the weights. That's all
Y'all-
I'm saying.
Y'all TGTs is killing me. God damn.
Like I said, it's rough out here. It is rough out here.
I'm so bad at the girl and the friends and everything. My man didn't even look up from the phone in the background, dog. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm dying. And my man is just like, I got to get that parlay in.
Right.
Cade Cunningham going off tonight.
Hopefully he does go off tonight. Hopefully he does. Unlike this person, because once again, I feel like we are about to witness the new Two-Face.
Harvey Dent.
oh
Shit. Come on, man. Oh, he got right up too. My man is doing hella drugs. my man is on drugs if you get up after that just willy-nilly like that. I swear to God. He on the best meth money can buy.
Right
he got the
my
best
God.
methamphetamines money can buy.
Oh, for sure. I bet his,
There you go. I got
he
tears
got that
out,
Walter
JB.
White. You
Oh,
tell
yeah.
me he got the Walter White treatment.
not the chili pea stuff. or
Yeah,
whatever.
dog.
It's the way he gets up, too, man. Golly.
God.
I bet his face looked like a pink eraser erased it.
I mean, it probably does.
Oh shit.
Like a gently used one.
Oh,
The dude used the earth to exfoliate.
No, for real. God.
and he gets up like hyped.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like the way he jumps up.
Once again, it's rough out here. And finally, I will end what's trending with this
Man.
circus acts gone wrong.
Oh.
Miss.
At least
what?
they
At
hit
least
that
you
net.
Yeah, if you didn't catch that net, you're probably dead right
Like,
there.
I mean, he
out
caught
for
some of it,
life.
not all of it.
Yeah, that's all he needed to stay alive. Like
That's life telling you, pick a new occupation.
Like no, without that net, it is
Pick a new
over with,
career.
bro. Broken net, he's done.
Listen to life
Finito,
sometimes.
finish, vamoose, vominos. It's over, dog.
Pick a
Like,
new career.
There's no freer feeling than just being in complete free fall. Like,
Okay.
as someone, I've jumped out of a plane 18,000 feet. It is
You can have that
blissful.
What if you
Man,
were
nah.
free falling and you didn't know if you'd hit a part of the net?
Dude, when you're free falling, you know all I'm gonna do is hit the ground. It's just how hard am I gonna hit the ground? Like,
Okay.
there's nothing you need to worry about. Like, if people are like, "Why would you go skydiving?" It's like you know exactly what's gonna happen. You're gonna go up in the air and you're gonna come
Well,
right
yeah,
back down.
skydiving's different than this.
You make it sound so
you got
simple.
like
It is.
know, right?
KG,
There's
it really is.
motherfuckers that are scared of heights.
It really
No,
is that
bro.
simple. You go up and you come down.
No, G.
It's not that simple.
Yeah, it's gravity.
It's not that simple.
Yo, watch it.
How about I leave gravity the fuck alone?
I'm gonna throw up my AirPod and it's gonna come right back down to my hand. Ready? Boom, just
Yeah,
like
but
that.
You didn't
That's
feel
how
any
it goes.
pain.
Your earbud didn't fall from 18,000 fucking feet though. Like that is different.
No, but it fell at 9.8 feet per second, which is the exactly same speed I fell in every other object that falls through space.
You
know?
can have that, bro.
Man,
that's just
your
gravity.
AirPods
Don't
don't
splat
even
on
without
the ground. I'm
a
good.
parachute. Goodness gracious.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Me and gravity.
So
we
you
got a
would
good
try
relationship.
this though?
Yeah, there's like I said, there's no freer feeling in the world.
Flannel, you doing this?
No.
That's a
I'll
hell
free
no.
myself doing the.
I
big
appreciate
musket or
your
something.
sales pitch,
That's-
Chase, but no.
That's how I free
Hell no.
myself. Big musketing.
That's a
That's the
hell
most
no.
freeing feeling I need in my life.
That is a freak.
That's it for what's trending you today, you guys.
Bang!
Mailbag while we got some time.
I might free some up today. No, I'm talking shit. It's stick gold, bro. My man was speaking some truth. No, I'm talking shit. I don't agree with the tactics. No.
Damn, and you know what? I wish that Stick was still in the room because I promise I'm not doing like he left, so now I'm saying this. But one of the comments was Stick is so annoying that he's got people agreeing with that guy.
Yeah.
We were like,
because some of it's like
The first part of the argument is valid. That's all I'm saying. The first part of the argument is
basketball
valid.
part of it was pretty on
It was
point,
pretty
man.
astute. It was some bullshit though. That was
I
some
know I
bullshit.
shouldn't comment on this, but
My man, you was on some bullshit. You can't be doing that on
we do have a
people's
super
wives,
chat before we get to mailbag burns. And this was discussing the what's trending. Strongman log lift. The no weight is 60 pounds. Also, bro, just use a barbell for overhead press, idiot. And CrossFit claims another. Is that a CrossFit activity? Maybe
I
it
have
is. I've
no
never done
idea.
That is wild, man. And what
Tough
friends
guys in training.
do we got to say what up, though, to JBSmooovv?
Just Feldman.
Just Feldman. Love it, love it, love it. Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, Detroit's #1 Chevrolet dealer and the Chevrolet dealer of the year for 6 consecutive years. Get a 2025, these are the deals of the month. Get a 2025 Chevy Silverado, 1500 crew for just $199 a month. You can also get a 2025 Chevy Equinox for only $249 a month. Come see George Hawes and his team at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi.
And you know what? I'm going to tell the people again about the Grand Slam Festival. And I'm going to have the people put Grand Slam, hashtag Grand Slam in the chat right now if you want an opportunity to get a pass. JB, how many? We're going to give away what? Two passes today? What you feeling?
I think one pass today, and then we'll do another one tomorrow.
Let's do one today.
Yeah.
Hey, so keep your eye on
a
there.
pair
It
of
does come with a +1. Keep your eye on the chat while I read this ad read and select the winner by the end of the chat. So put hashtag Grand Slam. Detroit, get ready. Tigers opening day is here on April 4th. Join Woodward Sports for the biggest and best party in the D, the Grand Slam Festival. Outdoor tent party at Detroit's Opera House. So we're right in the middle of the action, you all. The broadcast is brought to you by Jars Cannabis, Mad Packs, and White Claw. So we got White Claw flannel loading, where drinks will be flowing, smoke clouds will rise, and the party won't stop. WSN broadcast will go all day, and the heavies, I hear that they're just going to be on the wild all across the city getting content. So don't miss out. What'd you say?
You let the heavies loose.
Hey, they're letting the heavies loose on the city. It's not just confined to the 10 party this year. So they're going to be all over the place. I can't wait. So you guys don't want to miss out. Make sure you go ahead and get your tickets right now so you don't get left out at GrandSlamDetroit.com. Woodward Sports is opening day, brought to you by Jars Cannabis, Mad Packs, and White Claw. And did you get opportunity to make a selection, JBSmooovv?
Yes, sir. The first one I seen out here, Rune Monkey 58. I think I got that right.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yep.
Shout out.
Shout out Rune Monkey 58. Email me Kool-Aid at woodwardsports.com. And make sure that the subject is Grand Slam Fest, and we will set you up to make sure that you get a pass and a +1 for Grand Slam Fest. Hey, let's rock. We got to hear from our friends where at Feldman?
Oh, no, we just did.
Oh, yeah,
we're
did.
good. Good to go to mailbag.
Yeah. Let's see here. Danny G. I think that's Flannel's other
right.
burner
Flannel, how many burners you got?
Oh my goodness. How many burners do you think I have?
Dear Stick, I wrote you, but you still ain't
called
called
me.
me.
Got my cell pager and
I have
my
the
home phone
luxury to
at the
hash it
bottom.
out in person. I
sent 2 letters back in autumn. You must not have got them.
Right.
Probably
We're good.
Aw, look at that.
We're good.
He gonna talk shit about him in the car. No.
They're gonna be listening for the next hot bite. Big Cow 51 Feldman Mailbag. Did you see Juju and Jaden at the game. How confident are we that Juju Watkins didn't get a little dose of voodoo magic from Jaden Daniels' mom? I know they're first cousins. That's what the effective report is, that they are first cousins. But that was so unfortunate to see her go down. Man.
She was having a year
in the game.
Yeah,
she was having a year.
Terrible.
That was
and
tough, man.
Juju Watkins. College player for USC. Women.
USC guard, Juju Watkins.
It's funny. They know who Caitlin Clark is, though.
2022. I remember those good times.
Yeah, USC still won last night, too, so even after she left.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to do anything without her, though, like the rest of the tournament. But, yeah, that's sad because you know how it is with basketball players. Torn ACLs are just – that's like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's another one from Charles McClain. We'll let this be our last one. Feldman Mailbag. Last couple mocks I have seen by Lions writers have Lions going O-line at 28. They have not replaced Zeitler. You agree or disagree with the O-lineman at 28? And just real quick, Flan, I'm going to send this to you as well. ESPN, what they believe should happen. They think that they should actually trade up, man.
Oh, maybe something to cover tomorrow if nothing else comes up. But, all right. If you were to tell me that before the draft, the Lions re-signed Zadarius Smith and drafted an O-lineman, I wouldn't be mad at it. I think that the Kevin Zeitler loss is something that is going to be felt. I think Christian Mahogany will be good. Graham Glasgow, not so sure. But you definitely, if nothing else happens, though, I think you got to go edge at 28 or trade up.
I wouldn't be mad at it. However, that second round pick, you have to get an edge rusher. That's just how I feel about it. But if you want to strengthen your strength on this team, I'm not mad at that.
If they go O-line with 28, are you still in a comfortable position to trade up if you see a guy, or you're just kind of by the second and third? Are you just picking where you're at?
No, you have the potential to trade up because that third round pick that you got that's compensatory. I think it's an early third, so you'll be able to maneuver with that. Also, if you need to dip into next year's picks, you can do that as well. So Brad can move up any which way he wants to. It's just all about when does he want to strike and who is he going after.
You know, we'll do one more here, man. Dante151, and we'll get everybody's answer here. Everyone, what do you think the Pistons, this hashtag Feldman Mailbag, what do you think the Pistons record will be this week facing the Spurs, the Cavs, who have been absolute dogs this year, and the T-Wolves? Can you punch in at least a 2-1?
Yeah, yes. I'll go 2-1.
Yeah, my contemplation is can they catch the Cavs? They've played them well all season, and we know JB Bickerstaff understands a little bit of their makeup, and he has a lot of belief in his guys as well. And you know what? Wouldn't that be a nice get right? Wouldn't that be a nice one after dropping a couple against like the Wizards? And
is it at home?
Mavs? Yeah, the Cavs is home.
Give me 3-0, man. I'll take the 3-0 for the team. I'll do it for the team.
Okay,
I got you.
I'm gonna go 2-1. I think that they drop either at home to Cleveland or at Minnesota, but I definitely think that they win tonight and win pretty handily.
It's the Minnesota one that I'm actually like in contemplation over. I can see Ant-Man having just one of those games, but I do believe against the Cavs, I just think that the Pistons want to beat them for JB. I just really do, and this is going to be realistically their last shot to do that unless they get lucky in these
in the playoffs. I'm not worried about the Wolves, man. We already saw what that looks like with Anthony Edwards on the floor. He's going to score a lot of the points. That's fine, but who else is going to beat you on that Timberwolves team? So
Naz Reid.
I was gonna say Naz Reid. Everyone's Pistons fans' favorite.
I get it. We match up well with them, though. I'm not worried. Like could they lose it? Sure, but I'm not worried about the Timberwolves.
And the thing that makes everybody upset, I'm higher on Rudy Gobert than most. People act like he's Greg Ostertag.
What about you, JBSmooovv?
I'm going 2-1 on this one. I agree with you that Timberwolves game can be up and down for me. So 2-1.
Kavasia Chase, what's that record this week? You got the Pistons facing the Spurs, the Cavs, and the T-Wolves. What's that record for you?
Is it 2-1?
2-1?
Yeah.
Healthy. Which one you think they're going to drop?
I'll say the T-Wolves.
That's just for whatever
Y'all
reason.
crazy, man. I think that's a dub. And I see Willie B in here talking about Julius Randle. We ain't worried about no damn Julius Randle, man.
Who?
I'm sorry.
Willie B?
Yeah, Julius Randle.
Julius Randle.
What?
He could pop off for a good game.
Against the Pistons, yes. I'm being funny.
Sure, but
He's been a Pistons killer.
I'm not banking on it.
He's been an absolute
I
Pistons killer.
wouldn't bet my mortgage on it, but it's cool.
Their makeup of their team, bro. Like I can see them going 3-0, but comfortably 2-1. Yeah, I'm still going back and forth, but you know what? KJ, I'll join you in the sun, man.
Hey,
I'll join you in the sun. We're punching
dog.
that 3-0. If they get past those Cavs, I'm just hoping that they keep that energy, that energy moving forward. A lot of times you can have a letdown after a game like that against a team that just similarly record-wise matched up against. So,
Yeah.
you know, one bona fide star for one bona fide star in that Timberwolves game, and then you're looking for guys like Jalen Duren, who you believe is the 2 right now.
I do.
You think he's the 2 right now?
Outstanding on that.
You know what? Let's see how he does down the rest of the season.
K got a good rest day in. I think they suited. They could go 3-0, man, if things go according to plan.
You know what? That rest day might have been really, really strategic because it was him, Tim Hardaway, and Asar Thompson.
Exactly.
You look at their, you know, I know the NBA also talked about it as well. That Tim Hardaway, along with Cade, Asar, and the rest, Tobias and Jalen Duren, they've been a very formidable, one of the better top 7 units or lineups in all the NBA.
That is a fact.
Yep. So, is that a show?
Oh yeah. That was fun.
Go Pistons, man. Go Red Wings. Get this thing done. Detroit Pistons. You know that magic number is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking for them, and we're that much closer to the playoffs. Shout out to our brother Matthew Broder. Shout out to that dude Justin. And let's get this chest pass going before we break it down. Hey. Cavassier Chase in the building, working hard. What up, though, brother?
Hey, what up, though? Hope you guys have a good one. I want to say shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to everyone from Jackson, Michigan. I want to say a special shout out to our very own Jeremy JBSmooovv Bryant. From Fast and Loose, if you guys tuned in.
Fast and Loose.
You know, he's obviously involved in a lot of things here at Woodward. Very important part of everything that we got going on, but also just an incredible person. He gave me this cool little card yesterday. It's a homage. Dale Jr. Driving his father's number from the 2023 NASCAR All-Star race. Obviously, like I said, we're doing our own little NASCAR thing, but very special and meaningful to me. So I just want to say, you know, thank you to JB, keeping it in my pocket, carrying it with me. I was literally telling him, like, you know, I'm trying to find a cool car to carry around with me in my pocket. And he handed it to me. He's like, well, here, I got you one.
Hey, that's what's up, man.
So I just want to say, you know, just never can give enough love to JB. He's an incredible person. So I just wanted to, like, take this moment to highlight him.
Who's cutting onions in here, Chase? What are you doing?
All I know is JB ain't got me nothing, and we've been doing this show for about
Actually, I got something in mind that I'm
you ain't been
working
satisfying
on, so
the TD button enough. You've been too focused on that like button, KG.
Listen, my co-host's not allowed to fraternize, all right? I'm on my Ike Turner shit.
Hey, well, I treat him better.
Eat the cake, JB. Eat the goddamn cake.
Shout out, JB. It deserves
That's crazy,
all
bro.
the flowers, but you know what?
Could have got me a wrestling action figure to carry around. That's all I'm saying, bro. Like, damn.
Let me, man. You know what, KG? The elite, the magnificent, the wonderful, the stupendous, the
Goddamn
great,
right.
man. Talk
That's right.
about
Feed my
this
ego.
booth is better than the rest, man.
Yeah.
Especially the sound booth. There's no better sound guy in the game. Detroit's #1 draft pick. That is KG, aka Black Hollywood. What up, though, bro?
And you forgot pretty damn good looking too. So I, you know, but I add that on. Don't worry
that
about
was the given.
Yeah, hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta let them know, man. Sometimes you gotta let them know. Whoever did that shit on Sticks White's picture, that was some bullshit, bro. But the first part was good.
The first part was good.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out. We absolutely love y'all, man. Y'all keep us afloat. We appreciate that, bro. Shout out to my team, man. We did it a goddamn again. Let's keep it rolling.
Hey, Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. You hear just a little bit more of the type of people that are here and why we call this truly a family. And JBSmooovv put a little bit more of that on display. Thanks for highlighting them, Chase. That's Woodward Sports MVP, JBSmooovv.
Hey, man, as KG said, I am no one without you guys as well, too. Shout out to the chat family, but especially shout out to every single person in this room, in this building as well, too. Flannel, Kool-Aid, KG, Chase, man. I love you guys every single day, man. It's amazing. Another great show. Happy birthday to the Don, Sean, Big Sean. Yeah. It is Big Sean Day at LCA. Go out there, go down there, get the Win Pistons. Also pick up that Big Sean commemorative bobblehead tonight. So, hey, shout out.
Yep, you got to have a ticket, unfortunately. Doesn't matter how early I get there as media. They're like, go buy a ticket and we'll give you a bobblehead. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm buying a ticket tonight. I don't care. Shout out to Big Sean. I mean, Big Sean has supported Woodward Sports from the start. I'm at the StockX event down in Campus Marshall's Park.
Yeah.
He gave us time. Shout out to him, man. Like, he didn't have to. There were certain people he gave time to, and to be able to give us time, be able to give us some more promo type stuff, and to be able to shout us out, that was dope, man. I have nothing but love for Big Sean and respect for him. He took the time early on to shout out, Stick and Joey and Woodward Sports, and he says he's going to support us always. So shout out to him, man. Thank you for shouting that out, JB.
Oh, yeah.
And I see Randall Smalls in the chat. He says, great show, guys. Spread the love. And you know what song I like by Take 6? My unks, Spread Love. I love that song. Flannel Sam, vet of the squad, Red Wings correspondent, all sports knower. What up, though, brother?
Hey, we got ourselves a busy night in Detroit sports. So if you need me from about 7 p.m. to 11, I might be slow in getting back. We got Pistons and Red Wings on the docket, so could be an eventful show tomorrow. We shall see.
Hey, and it's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. And hey, can't wait to get the legend on tomorrow to see how many more sticky notes is up on his wall. I see KG got a couple in there.
I can add to mine, too. It go both ways.
Man, it's been a show, and chat family has been epic. Sending in the super chats, being engaging. I thought the conversation was dope, especially the NFL talk when we went over the way early rankings, and we got into quarterback rankings as well. It was all around good show, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow as well, because chat family means we get to do this all over again with you all. I'm hoping you all have a blessed day. It's been Wake Up Woodward. Smash that like button on the way out.
We got to touch on that spot from last night. I don't even know how Mox does that shit. And we all know how a lot of John Moxley matches go. It's going to be a lot of blood. It's going to be a lot of just violence.
Sick fuck, Mox. You a sick fuck, man.
Man, it was a street fight. That was kind of expected. But what was unexpected, Cope ends up getting it back. And he hits him once in the stomach. And then the kill shot was the one across the back, in which the weapon got stuck in his fucking back.
I don't even know how you come up with this as a weapon. I just want to know whose idea was it for this spot. I believe it's Moxley, but like, if Cope was like, "Hey, we should try this."
I mean, Cope is of the extreme variety as well. So
take it back to that flaming table.
Yeah,
at WrestleMania, Mick Foley.
Edge is known to do extreme spots. Should he be doing this many at this stage in his career?
No,
probably not.